The director came up to me and he was like, that was perfect. Don't change anything. Do it exactly the same. Let's get the potato flakes. I was about to be 30. I was like, maybe this is it. Maybe this is my dance career. And so I hang up. I was like, I think I made a really big mistake.
If you've ever measured your whole worth as a dancer against someone else's highlight reel, this episode is for you. Jack said something that I haven't shaken, that he spent years thinking if he wasn't performing with Beyonce, he wasn't really a professional dancer. Even with a Disney show, a residency at the McKittrick Hotel, training that most people would kill for, he still felt this way. So if you've also ever felt like your career doesn't count unless it looks like a certain way from the outside, you need to hear how he talks himself out of that now. We also get into something that dancers don't say enough out loud: what happens to your identity when your body stops working. So if you've ever quietly wondered, am I allowed to call myself a dancer right now, or who am I without this conversation is going to feel like he's reading your mind. But before we get into it, please take a quick second to hit the follow or subscribe button. This little passion project of mine means so much to me, and my hope is to continue to bring quality guests on that will ultimately serve and inspire you. Okay, thank you. You're the best. Now let's get into it. Welcome back to Kicking It Real. I'm here with Jack Taylor, who is a dancer, choreographer, actor, and singer who grew up in LA, dancing at Debbie Allen Dance Academy while also being a TV star as a kid. And if you're as big of a Hannah Montana fan as I am, I know you've seen him in action before. He went on to study kinesiology, dance with Step, when dance company spent Friday, Saturday nights performing at the infamous McKittrick Hotel. Oh, gosh, you have so much. And has made a comeback to his acting roots and musical theater performances. So Jack, welcome to Kicking It Real.
Yay! I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
It's actually, that was drama. It's because I'm like unwell right now and I'm like, oh, breathe, Gabby, breathe.
Lung capacity.
Lungs. Yeah, everything's fine. But okay, we're going to warm it up. What have you been kicking it with lately?
I have been kicking it with healing lately. I recently had
first went
shoulder
to heels.
surgery.
Yeah, I was like, oh, and then I was like, oh.
Yeah, I'm currently a heels choreographer now.
I wouldn't put it past you. You literally can do anything. It's actually insane to me.
I've taken a handful of heels classes and I felt like Bambi. I was like, whoa. Like my knees, I was just like, oh my God. Like I felt like a little fawn.
Yeah, you are very lanky, but it's beautiful. And I bet it actually probably looks good and you're just being hard on yourself.
Thank you. Yeah, I've taken a handful of classes and I love it. It's really good training. But I definitely was like, woo, she does not train like this.
Well, also like heels, I don't know how often you're wearing heels too. And I mean, even like people who do wear heels, if you're not a dancer, I feel like it's tough to even walk. But anyways, you're healing your shoulder though.
Yes.
Sorry to hijack that.
Hijack, it's me.
Yeah. Oh my God.
No, I know we're like totally getting off topic, but whenever I'm at an airport, it's really funny because, yeah, exactly. And so people will always be like, hello, Jack. And I'm like, hi.
Wait, like airport attendant people?
Yeah,
like
just
workers?
like all the time. Whenever I'm in a situation that like hijack is kind of like a trigger word, they're always there was literally one time that somebody checked me into my flight and then was like, hi, Jack. I mean, hello, Jack. And I said, oh, that's kind of funny.
Wait, I bet it's like in their training. Like they're not like allowed to say that because I would never think of that. Never.
Yeah. No, same. I was like, hey, oh, okay. Got
You're
it.
like, understood. Hello. Yeah. They're just very formal with you. We love it.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to get into the shoulder things anyways. But what are you kicking to the curb?
What I'm kicking to the curb right now, I feel like, I mean, we'll probably talk on this a little bit as well later, but I feel like what I'm really kicking to the curb is sort of just like stripping my ego with just kind of like the performance lifestyle. Like, I feel like, so this is like my second time in a healing process. And the first time when I broke my foot, I was really just like, all right, we need to like get rid of this. And so now my second time with my shoulder, I'm like, okay, I feel like I've really worked on this. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah, I'm really excited because I feel like you have so many things that I have not thought about in that regard, which I'm excited. But we're going to take it back for a second to like set the scene for everyone listening. Because you grew up in LA, which like I feel like itself is so movie-esque. I'm like, I think it's the same as people who grew up in New York. I'm like, that people live there? Like
that's
kids
how I
live
feel
there?
when I come to New York and I see kids like on the subway and I'm just like, I can't believe this is their life. Like that's wild that they just like are on the subway and they're like 12.
They're brave. They're truly brave because I couldn't figure it out as like a 22-year-old for a while.
I know.
But they're going to be built different. But you lived in LA and you were also homeschooled, which is so cool.
Yeah.
Did you feel like that was typical in LA, like that situation? Or was it because your parents were educators?
Yeah, so a little bit of both. So it was right around the time. So I was homeschooled from middle school, sixth through eighth grade. And a big reason that we did that was because I started training at Debbie Allen Dance Academy. And to train there, it was like 4 to 8 every day. We took like 5 ballet classes a week. We had to do like 2 modern classes, a flamenco class, a salsa class, modern, Dunham, tap, jazz. Like it was a pretty intense schedule. So we were literally there from like 4 to 8 every day. And so when I committed to doing that, I was about, I don't know, 12 actually. I was about 12
Actually, I know.
when I started, yeah, when I started dancing there. And my parents were like, okay, this is a really hard schedule with school because I didn't, you don't really get out of school until about like
No.
2:30ish, 3ish. And then I lived in Long Beach and they were in Culver City. So that's like a 25-mile distance basically. So with LA traffic, it was really
Yeah.
difficult. And also just like within the time frame of everything, I wasn't really liking school. I was feeling very like um personally I was feeling really behind in school. And my parents, so my mom, my grandmother, and my grandfather were all teachers. And my grandmother actually had the idea. She was like, "We can teach him." And my mom was like, "You're going to teach him because you're retired."
You're like, she's like, let me add on a second job to my
Exactly.
full-time job.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. So my mom taught me math. My dad taught me science. My grandfather taught me history, and my grandmother taught me English. So it was kind of like as if I had a middle school experience because I like changed teachers for every
Yeah.
subject. Um, so yeah, so that was within that time frame. And then also whilst I was at WLN Dance Academy, that's when I started auditioning and that's when I booked Dandruff Danny. And so yeah, everybody who was on set was pretty much homeschooled. Like
Yeah. You can't
nobody
be, I
was,
feel
I mean,
like.
yeah, like when I started, because I started off as background on Hannah Montana and a
Wait,
lot of the
yeah.
background, yeah,
I had this was crazy when I was doing my digging on you, which I like.
uh-huh,
It's so fun when it's like people I know, and I'm like, wait, let me see
yeah.
what's on the internet because you're like, why? Like you're easily searchable, but
Oh,
also
thanks.
not because it's like Jack Taylor is like also kind of common. Like
Yeah, I'm like Jack Taylor the 14th. It's
you need like
crazy.
a little bit of context with the Google search, but it's
Yes,
still
yeah,
there
yeah.
because you didn't book because you were an extra, and then
I
you like
was, yeah,
did you okay?
yeah.
So explain what happened, and then did you do that on purpose or just like
No,
happen?
yeah. So, okay. So it kind of all lines up with Dimmerland Dance Academy. So I was training at the acronym is DADA, which is just easier
Hmm.
than Dimmerland Dance Academy. So I was training at DADA. And while I was there, I started auditioning for things and I auditioned for a background agency. And they casted me. And then they were pretty much just like, whenever you want to do a job, you just like have to go. They're like, you can turn down anything we send you. Like, no problem if you turn it down. And they said, but if you say you're gonna go, you have to go. Like
Sure,
there's no question about that. Yeah. So it's like 2005
the good old
and
days.
my mom gets a call from my background management and they say, hey, Jack fits the profile for this show called Hannah Montana. It's brand new. It hasn't even aired yet. Are you interested? And me being a true Disney Channel fan, I had seen the ads and I was like, Mom, I need to do it. I was like, Mom, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to do it. And I was like, this is so cool. I want to do it. So my mom's like, okay. And this was like the first job that I did with my background management too. So I go to set and there's a woman who runs all of the background kids. And so she's standing there and she's looking at me and she's like, do you dance at Debbie Allen Dance Academy? And I was like, yeah, I do. And she goes, oh, my daughter is Sarah. I recognize you from the recitals. And I was like, oh, that's wild. And so it just so happened that the episode that I showed up on, she had to pick a random kid to be this Stand With Danny character. And the only guideline she really had was it was somebody who needed to have dark hair, which at the time I had. So yeah, so she's like, she pulls me aside and she goes, I'm going to pick you because I know you and I know that you're like taking acting classes at Debbie Allen Dance Academy. So, um, so she's like, it's all you have to do is stand there and scratch your head and then they're going to like reference you and then you look at them and you just kind of go like, meh. You know what I, like you just kind of go like, I can't believe you're like talking about me because I have dandruff, right?
That's
So
so
I get
awesome.
there. Yeah, so I get there and we did like a practice run and they put baby powder on my shoulders. And they're like, okay, so they're like putting baby powder on me. And
Yeah, to
and so yeah,
clarify,
so
you
we're
didn't
like
actually
running.
have dandruff. Thank God.
No, I didn't have dandruff. No, they were potato flakes, what they
Let's
put in
clear
my
the air
hair.
for everyone so they know.
Yeah, I didn't have dandruff. I still don't have dandruff.
Definitely not.
I never had Head and Shoulders. I was okay. Um, but yeah, so they for the run they put baby powder on me, and we're all just kind of like standing there and they're running through lines, and then they say like, "Oh yeah, it's super cool like being next to Dandruff Danny because he's lame." And I look at them and I was kind of like, well, if I was like truly this character, I wouldn't just kind of be like, like sad about it. I'd probably be a little mad. So I pretended to like blow dandruff on them. Like I was like with my shoulder. And the director came up to me and he was like, that was perfect. Don't change anything. Do it exactly the same. Let's get the potato flakes. And I was like, okay, work. Let's do it. So yeah.
That's
So
incredible.
then we like actually filmed it and they were like, that was great. Perfect. Like a week later, my mom gets a call from Disney and they say, hey, we'd love to have Jack come in and read some lines. We're considering writing Dandruff Danny into the script, basically. Because it
Man.
was just supposed to be like a one-off random background person and
Yeah.
then never again, right? So yeah, so then I go in, I read lines, and then they liked me, so then they started writing me into the script. And then I did, I think, 4 episodes as Dandruff Danny.
It's like insane, and I might be ignorant for saying this, but I'm like, that has to be one of the most well-known extras ever. And maybe it's
Oh,
because I
thanks.
like exclusively only watched like Hannah Montana growing up. But like that could be it too. But like what other extra in 100-ish episode of the whole
I
thing?
know.
Like that, and
Yeah.
everyone knows what that is. Like I told I
It
was
is
like,
kind of wild. I'm always slightly perplexed at how people are like, I know exactly who you are. I'm like, I was on 4 episodes and one of them, all I did was blow dandruff off my shoulder. Like,
no, actually, and I have like the worst memory when it comes to things like that, which is wild. Which you beat me to, but I was gonna ask if you were. I was like, are you besties with Miley Cyrus? I know.
no,
Just
I'm
kidding.
not. Everybody, oh my God, when I was growing up, everybody always asked me, they said, do you have her number? And I was
You're like,
like,
yeah, let me pull that out real quick.
well, one, cell phones weren't even a thing when
Mm,
we were on set. Like
yeah.
I didn't have a cell phone until I was probably like, I don't know, 13, 14. So even if I did
Yeah.
have her number, like, I don't know, it was just funny. I
No,
was
it
like,
is
I'm not
funny.
giving you her number.
Also, yeah,
Like,
what are you gonna do with that? Also, she wouldn't answer. No, I just thought that was
yeah,
funny.
exactly.
But you knew, okay, so you like saw the cute little thing. You saw that it was going to
Yeah.
be a show, but you didn't know it was gonna be like what it
No.
is now, which is
Yes,
crazy.
so my first episode, um, for background, when I like before I had lines or anything, the first episode of Hannah Montana hadn't even aired. Like we were filming, I think it was like episode 14. We were filming, having no idea what this was going to be. And I remember on that episode as well was like the airing of the first episode. So it was like
Oh,
when you work on a Disney show, it's actually super cool. I don't know if they still do this because this is like, you know,
a
20
while
years ago.
ago. Yeah.
But excuse me, not to age myself, but so yeah, when we were doing it, what you do is they do a new episode every week.
Hmm.
And you start on Monday, you finish on Friday, I think. And so you film Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And then on Friday, what they do is they bring in a live audience. And so that's how they get that laugh is from people like actually reacting to things.
Oh.
So they bring in a live audience. And then what they do is they show you what they have filmed up until Thursday. And then they'll save like 2 or 3 scenes to film for the live audience so that they
Okay,
can kind of see like this is how this works.
I see.
So when you like come in as a studio audience, basically, you're there for like, I don't know, probably 3-ish hours, 3 to 4 hours, because we're actively taping as
Right.
well. So they get a little taste of like, this is what it looks like. And then at the end of the episode, we all come out and we bow and we're like, thanks for coming, blah, blah, blah. But on that week, what they did is they also aired the first episode. So it was
Wow.
wild. Yeah, it was really, really
Wow.
cool.
And you guys got to watch it too.
And we got to watch it. Yeah.
Well, was it more nerve-wracking on that Friday because you had a live audience, or was it kind of like you didn't even know they were there?
I mean, it felt the same, honestly.
Yeah.
Like we couldn't see them. They
Oh,
were
you
like
couldn't.
yeah,
Oh,
they were
okay.
like the way that the studio was laid out, it's like there was like her house and then there was like the school and then there was her bedroom. You know what I mean? Like they were all kind of like stacked up.
Yeah.
And so the audience was in front of the house and I never had scenes in front of the house. Like I was
Interesting.
always in the school.
I'm thinking of like the Ellen show where it's just like a big like an auditorium and like I don't know why I'm
I mean,
thinking
yeah,
that.
so it is that. It is that. It's just that like now imagine that like okay, so imagine the Ellen show, right? But then imagine there's like 5 rooms like around.
Around.
So like the audience is still right there on like the main section
Yeah.
because most of the scenes are obviously happening in the house.
Yeah.
And they would usually save those scenes to do as well because that's where like we would come out and bow and everything.
Yeah.
So yeah, so like the school was like around the corner. So we never really saw the audience when
When
we
you were
were
doing
actively
it.
filming. Yeah.
Yeah, Danny never got the invite to Miley's house.
I didn't. I
That's
really
really
didn't.
sad. I think she would
It's
invite you
okay.
now though. Like
Maybe. I
I think
know.
maybe.
Yeah,
Wow.
I've thought about like not necessarily rekindling anything because we're not I wouldn't say we're friends, but
Yeah.
I've now that she's like done the reunion and I feel like, she's very much like
Healed.
pro Hannah Montana again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I would
Because she
love to
went through like
reconnect.
because she went through a thing of like, this is not me and I'm not doing
Yeah. I
this.
mean,
And
she
which
like definitely actively was like, I am not affiliated to Disney Channel anymore and I want that to be known.
do you think that
Um,
was because of how she was like treated? I don't know how they treat people. I'm assuming it's fine, but or is it just like an ego, like I'm not a child anymore?
no, it's not an ego thing. I mean, like when we were on set, it's, especially as Miley, like she was constantly getting thrown into things. Like every second it was like, okay, now you have to go to school. Now you have to go
Yeah.
film the scene. Now you have to go like all she was constantly just like getting redirected. So I can't imagine, from like 12 to 18 that like by the time you're legally an adult that you wouldn't be like, okay, I want my own schedule. I want to like make my own decisions.
And
Like I don't
also
need people
like
telling me what to do anymore.
yeah, and like borderline she's kind of playing herself too, which I feel like is
Yeah.
an interesting like paradox of like you're telling me
Yeah.
how to be myself, but she's not actually being herself. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, interesting. But
I
okay,
know.
not to maybe we could do a second episode on just like pop culture because I'm not with it.
Yeah.
But I just Miley's that was like my show. Like I listened to the soundtrack. Like that is like
Yes.
my era, which we love that. Is
I
there
know.
any
Yeah.
I don't know. Is there any other cool things you want to share about that? Because I wouldn't even know what to ask. A terrible
I'm trying to
host.
think. No, it's okay. Yeah, I mean, I feel like, when I was younger, it was really funny because people would recognize me and it would just, I don't know, it was kind of like, it was just interesting. Like, I really never thought that this character would take off the way that it did. And it's even like, it's funny now, like, I'm 33 and people every once in a while will be like, I feel like I've met you before.
I was gonna
And
ask now because you don't even you
yeah,
have no dandruff, no hair,
yes.
but
And
your
there's like,
face is
yeah,
very yeah.
my face is the same
My face. I'm like just put a little hair and like make you
and it's the same.
20 years
Yeah.
younger. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, it is funny. Like I've definitely had people I've had people that I've met on contracts that then, like a month or two go by and then they approach me and they go, okay, so like I've totally known who you were for the past like month and I've kind of waited for you to say something about it.
You're like someone had to break the ice. But I get it where
Yeah.
you're like, what are you gonna do? Be like, oh, by the way,
Yeah.
also I was Dandruff Danny. But that's kind of how I felt when I met you.
Yeah.
Like however long ago that was. And I think whoever like introduced us like told me that, but I was fangirling probably in my head, which now I can like let that loose. But I was just like, I probably did say it to you actually. Honestly, I would be like weird like that and be like, oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah. It is just kind of funny. Like a lot of times when I'm in a new because I've been doing a lot of contract based work recently. And there's always an icebreaker. There's always like a hi, I'm Jack
Easy.
and I bleh, right?
Yeah.
And like there's always one person that knows me going into the contract and they're always like, you have to say you're Dandruff Denny. And I'm
You
like,
have
that
to.
is kind of crazy to start off on a first day. Like
Yeah, but that is the ice will be broken and
I know
shattered.
it's so interesting. One time I did say, because one of my friends literally was like, if you don't say this, I'm just gonna like scream it. And I was like, okay. So instead of saying Dandruff Danny, I said I was a recurring character on Hannah Montana, just to make it a little like less like I don't know.
Because people would know who that was
Yeah, and
immediately.
also like I don't know. I just find it. I don't want to be like holding on to some sort of like glory days. You know what I mean? Like I would hate the perspective to be like, wow, he still talks about Hannah Montana.
Uh,
Like not in a
no, I get
bad way,
it.
just like in a especially as a icebreaker to be like, I was on Hannah Montana. Like I don't have anything to prove. I don't have anything to
Yeah.
like
No, I mean, not that this is the same at all. Not the same at all. But even, I'll never forget, we had an older man in here who's quoting us for like blinds or something. And
Mhm.
he was here for far too long. And then he started asking about us, and I said like, oh yeah, this is back when I was still doing Rockettes, and I was like, oh yeah, like I'm a dancer, and he was like, oh, like he didn't understand, and then my husband was like, oh no, she was a Rockette. Like I also am not like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I was a Rockette. Like I'm just like,
Yes.
it's just like weird. It feels like, but then I also will take a step back and be like, okay, Gabby, like you're not that cool. Like no one's gonna freak out that much, but yours, maybe they would.
No, people definitely freak out at Rockette. That's a
Yeah.
really high achievement.
Well, unless it's here in Texas a lot, they're like, oh, like for the Houston Rockets. I'm like, no,
You're like Rockette, honey.
no, just slightly different. But
Yeah, you're like
yeah,
close. Not quite.
not quite. But you'd be surprised. I mean, you either like know what it is or you like don't at all. Probably the same with Dandruff. Like I'm gonna tell my
Yeah,
mom about this after, and I'm gonna be like, do you remember that character? She probably does, but I'll let you know. We'll circle back to that.
yeah,
But there's another part of your childhood that I also want to talk about.
yeah.
So I did Google and look at it yesterday. Your tap performance on "So You Think You Can Dance" with Nigel.
Oh, yes,
It
yeah,
was really blurry because it was however long ago. But you
yeah.
were like in the front, right? Like that was you,
Yes,
like
we were.
front center.
Yeah, we tapped with Nigel. It was literally so much fun. This is also with Debbie Allen Dance Academy.
Of course,
I
because
attribute so much of my performative career to Debbie Allen Dance Academy. Like they definitely geared me to be the professional dancer that I am today.
yeah.
Yeah.
When I watched it, my jaw was on the floor because you guys were better tap dancers than I've ever been in my life, and I dance professionally tapping. Like you guys, I'm gonna link this in the show notes. Go watch this. Like I was literally, and I was feeling ill last night, but I'm just like, oh
Yeah.
my god,
It
like
was
so good.
Yeah, it was so fun. Chantel Heath is the person who choreographed that, and she was a really influential choreographer for me at Debbie Allen Dance Academy. And so it was like right around the time that Happy Feet had just come out too.
Okay,
And this was also like, I think it was season 4, So You Think You Can Dance.
yeah,
So this is like peak So You Think. You know what I mean?
yeah. Back in the
we've had
day.
like 3 seasons and now we're on season 4. They haven't changed the stage yet. It's still the OG stage.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was so incredible.
That's so cool. Was that
Yeah,
before or after? That was after Hannah Dandruff.
it was during. It was like kind
During
of all around
same
the same time.
overlapped.
Yeah,
That's I saw Debbie Allen at Radio City one time.
yeah.
One time. She was so cool.
Incredible woman.
I want to talk about that a little bit more because
Yeah.
I don't know a ton about like the actual logistics. I know you said it was 4 to 8 and you listed off all the classes you took. So was it a requirement just to attend the school, or were you a part of a special like group, or what was that like?
Yeah, so the program is what I mentioned. Like you minimum 5 ballet classes a week, minimum 2 modern classes, minimum I think it's 1 flamenco, 2 modern, Dunham, and then they would add in like electives. And so like the electives were like salsa, tap. You know what I mean? Um,
That's so cool.
yeah, so like I also really, like I said before, I really attribute Debbie Allen Dance Academy to my professional career, just because like at from age like 11 to about 14, that was my training every day, 5 ballet classes a week,
It's incredible.
constantly dancing. We never did competitions. We only did recitals.
Let's talk
So
about
we would
that.
do, yeah, so we
Yeah.
would do a fall recital and a spring recital. So we would just train. We would train and train and train and train for the whole like semester, basically.
Hmm.
It would be like the fall and the spring semester. And so we danced, and then we would do a recital at the end of the semester. And when we did that, we would do a lot of them because this was like the only time for our parents to really see us
Yeah.
dance.
Yeah.
So we would do like 7 shows of
But it's
recital.
so fun. We used to do like 5,
Yeah,
and it was like it's so fun though. It's like
yeah,
Christmas, like
yeah,
recital weekend or whatever, maybe
yeah.
a week for you guys.
But then within all of that as well, Miss Allen, she would always do like production shows. We would always do like a winter production show as
Oh,
well.
cool.
So right now what she always does is the hot chocolate nutcracker. But before, when I was there, we did a show called Dreams. We did a show called Dancing in the Wings, and these were all like books that she had written that she made into like musicals, basically. Um, and at the time, because I was so little, we were like ducks. we were like,
Oh,
we were
that's
like,
so
yeah,
cute.
we were ducks, and then we were like ants for the other show.
Not
It
the
was
ants.
fun. Yeah, because like if you read the book, it makes more
Yeah.
sense within the context. But we were like the cute little characters of the show. Um,
Wholesome.
yeah, it was really fun.
That's
And
so
then she
fun.
would also like she directed often on That's So Raven. So we also
Oh,
like
she
we did
did.
background on That's So Raven one time because they like the cotillion ball. I don't know if you remember that episode,
I
but
I'm
the
not as like I watched a lot of that so Raven, but it was like a little before me. So I
yeah,
didn't like yeah.
yeah. So she directed a lot of episodes on That's So Raven. And it's also like it's so interesting knowing her and then seeing Raven's character. You can really see a lot of Miss Allen's influence because
Yeah.
like the way that Raven says things, sometimes I'm like, literally, that is Miss Allen speaking. Like I can hear her being like, say it like this. And it's like within the
Oh,
same sort of like tone and cadence that she would say it. So I'm like, okay, that's really cool. Once I figured out that she was directing a lot of those episodes, I was like, oh,
it's like
this makes sense.
clicking. Yeah, you're like,
Yeah.
no, I can't. It's like you can't unhear it now.
Yeah. But she
Oh,
would she would like what I also really loved about dancing there is she would book us for gigs all the time to dance at. Like that's how I did So You Think You Dance. That's
yeah.
a Raven. We performed at oh my god, I'm blanking. I forget which hotel it was. Oh, like the Beverly Hills Hotel. And we were there for like we did like a gala performance there for something. Like we constantly were like being used to
Yeah.
perform for events. So it was really nice.
That's so cool too, because she also very easily could have just done her own life, but like to provide such a great environment for kids and bring them up and like bring them along with her. Like, I don't know. I just
Yeah.
think that's
Oh yeah.
very, very
It's
cool.
definitely it's not just her name on the building. She's very involved.
That's so, so cool.
Yeah, she teaches, she directs shows, she, comes in all the time and would like just watch and then like she knows every kid. Like she knows us by name. Like it's not just like, "Oh yeah, I know you." Like she knows everybody at her studio.
Yeah.
Like it's really
It's
incredible.
it's giving like the good version of Abby Lee a little bit to me. But like, you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Where it's like
Yeah.
envisioning, but like in the non-toxic, like awesome actual way. I was gonna ask
Yeah.
you, but from hearing like everything you've already said, I'm gonna assume the answer is no. But did you feel like you were missing out as a kid not doing competitions?
Absolutely not.
Because I feel like that's a
Yeah.
thing now. People, I see it all over the internet of just like this weird hyper fixation around competitions. And I
Yeah.
like not the same as you, but my studio growing up, we weren't like a competition studio. We would go as performance opportunity. We would listen to the
Yeah.
feedback and like literally sometimes our teachers would be like, okay, well, like that's fine. Like disregard that because it wouldn't be about technique. It would be about a trick or something. And we just didn't like care about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't see people, you don't have to do competitions. Like you can, but like you
Yeah.
don't, it's not, you didn't do them and look at how successful you are as a professional. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
I do think it's interesting like Miss Allen really, kind of stood on that as well. Like she was really big on like we never had costumes. Like our dress code was a leotard and tights. And that's
Wow.
exactly what we would wear for recitals as well. Like the only time we
Interesting.
ever didn't wear that was if it was like for flamenco, it like requires like a skirt.
Sure.
You know what I mean? And like a special pair of shoes. Like for tap, obviously we wore tap shoes, but like we like any jazz, modern, ballet, contemporary didn't exist at the time. Neither did lyrical.
Man. Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Dunham, like anything that was like that didn't require
A
some sort of
specific, yeah.
yeah, like when we took African, that also requires like a skirt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
So
totally.
and this is also mainly for the female presenting dancers too. So
Yeah.
like for me as a male presenting dancer, I was always we had to wear white shirts and black tights. And I wore that for every class. Like that's just
Which
what
is
it
great
was.
because you're not worried about what you're wearing, and I probably had I mean, I can't speak from, like, a male perspective of, like, the body image issues. You're not like, "Oh, this person's wearing that, looks cute," or that it's just like, "Hey, we're here to
Yeah.
dance. We're here to learn and, like, grow in
Yeah.
technique." That's really cool.
Yeah. And they were really big on making us as male presenting dancers very masculine as well. Like
Mm.
like the minute that we were old enough to be in men's ballet, we were pulled out from our classes and put into men's ballet. So
Oh,
there would be like beginning, intermediate, advanced, and then there was men's ballet.
it
And we
just was
had a Russian teacher, Vitaly Artushkin, loved him. And yeah, we were very much like another really influential person, his name's Terry Beeman. He was really big on like as a male dancer, you dance from your chest. Like he was really big on
okay.
like that is how you present yourself. Like he was like females dance from their hips, and he was like men dance from their chest. And he
Interesting.
was really big on like you should feel like there's like fire on your chest all the time. And it was like it was a big way for us to just kind of like be, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
not
Find
that they were
yourself a
trying to
little
like
bit.
make us exactly like they weren't trying to like they were just really empowering us to be male dancers, which I
Well,
also really enjoyed.
and, like, anatomically, like, men are wider on the chest and women are wider on the hips. So it's also just
Yeah.
like, hey, this is, again, anatomically how you're going to have the most power and be able to have the most confidence. So I feel like that makes
Yeah.
a lot of sense, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Wow. Were there a lot of people there, or just
Oh yeah.
like a
Yeah.
ton?
Like so there was only 3 levels. There was only beginning, intermediate, and advanced. That was it. And
Wow.
in the classes, there could be up to like 50 people in a class because the studios were huge. They were so big.
Yeah.
So it never felt crowded by any means.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was really cool. I liked that a lot. And they
Yeah.
would let you like I was really advanced in tap. So I would be in like beginning ballet, but then I'd be in like advanced tap.
I was gonna ask that if it had to be like all
Yeah,
or
they could.
nothing.
Yeah, it wasn't just like, I mean, if you were a beginning level of everything, that's what it was.
Yeah, for
If
sure.
you were intermediate of everything, that's what it was. Um, but I came in with a lot of tap. So I think like pretty much from the beginning, I was always like one level above whatever my like average level was
Yeah,
for
for
tap.
tap. No, that
Yeah.
makes sense. Did you feel like when you decided to go there to train in your head where you're like, okay, I'm gonna make a career out of this, or you just wanted to take it more seriously?
Well, that actually kind of has another funny story.
I love it. I love a
So,
funny story. Give it to me.
so my grandmother was a huge advocate for me pursuing a performance career. She was like a big
Really?
reason why I was homeschooled. And then she was really big on like, we should go take him to Dada because this is like the best place to dance. And he says he wants to dance, right?
What was her background? Well, she was a teacher.
She's a teacher. Yeah.
She just believed in you.
Yeah. She was really big on like, she had her own, she ran her own school and it was like an art school.
Okay.
So she was really big on like if a child is expressing artistic endeavors, you need to like support that. You can't just be
Yeah.
like, no, do math. Like you can be like, okay, like let's paint the numbers on the wall or something. Like she was really big on like how are we going to make this work for you, basically.
Yeah.
So anyways, she was really big on me going to Debbie Young Dance Academy because she had, hey, hello.
He said moving. Frankity. Oh, big stretch, butt and face.
Oh, downward dog. Come on.
Literal downward dog, sorry. He's migrating.
um, but yeah, so my grandmother was like, we need to take him to Dada. So we show up. And I think that I'm just showing up for like an open class, right? And kind of similar to to being at Hannah Montana, we show up and somebody is at the front desk going like, "Hi, do you have his headshot and resume? And is he signed with anyone?" And my mom's like, no, we're just like here to take a dance class." And then they're like, "Oh, well, auditions for the academy are today. Do you want him to audition?" And
Your
and my
grandma
mom's like,
hoodwinked you. Yeah.
"No, we really
You
didn't
just really
know.
didn't know. Oh,
No, we really just like showed up on a day that we were available, but it happened to be the auditions for the academy."
stars
So
aligned.
yeah. So then we show up and they like, I don't have a headshot or like nothing. I have nothing. I've never pursued a dance career like ever at this point. I've taken
Ah,
like a handful of tap classes.
oh my God.
And so yeah, so we go in and then it's just I don't even know what an audition is. I'm just kind of like, woo, I'm here to dance. And they kind of give like a little taste of all the stuff basically. So we did I don't know, like maybe a 30-minute ballet class, a 30-minute African class, a 30-minute jazz class. I don't think we did tap, but we kind of did like a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
And after like each round, less and less kids were there. And then I'm kind of just like, okay, cool, like this is fun, this is fun. We get to the end. And then we're like going across the floor as like with some sort of African phrase. I don't remember what it was. And then they start like pulling in the parents and I see my mom and I'm like, "Hi mom." And I think I'm just like in this dance class, like having a good time.
You didn't think anything
And
of the kids
then
disappearing?
yeah, like had no idea. Well, because I was young. I was like 11. I was just kind of
Yeah.
like, yeah, I'm here to take a dance class. So um so then my mom comes in and then Debbie Allen walks in and she goes, "Congratulations. We would love to like extend an invitation to you and your child to be a part of the Debbie Allen Dance Academy." And my mom was like, "What did we get ourselves into?"
No, for real. She's like, wait, this is supposed to be a
So
one-time little
that's
dance
so
class.
that's a big reason. So then they're like, "Here's the requirements, right?" And it's like every day 4 to 8, and then Saturdays was like 9 to 5. Like it was literally a job. Because it was like an all day thing. Like you could stack up so many classes on that day, especially. So yeah.
Yeah.
So then that was like timeline wise. So I got into Debbie Allen Dance Academy. We tried for like a week to make it work, basically. And then that's when my grandmother was like, "We're gonna homeschool him because this is too
Yeah.
much."
Too much.
Yeah.
That's incredible though. I mean,
Yeah.
talk about the stars aligning
I know, it was crazy.
and like the no the no headshot, no resume, and you still like being happy. I say it all the time. I've heard stories where people are auditioning for something and like similar to where like they have no idea what they're getting themselves into. They do know it's an audition
Yeah.
usually, but
Yeah.
they don't really know. And then they're
Yeah.
like, oh, this is fun. Like I'm just having a good time. Then they end up booking it or getting whatever it
That's
was.
everything I've ever booked is whenever I go in with some sort of expectation of like, oh my God, I'm perfect for this. Never. But the minute that I show up to something and I'm like, oh, okay, like, sure, this sounds fun. Like, I don't know anything about it. Like, it's just an audition. Let's go. That's the ones that I always book.
Because your guard's like down. You're just like, let's just
Yeah.
have fun. And then you're like, oh, I'm actually being
Yeah.
myself. Wow. What a
Yeah.
weird concept. It's hard. It's
I
hard though.
also, this is kind of a hot take. I also think that casting directors, this is like totally out of left field right now, but it kind of goes with what we are just saying. I think that like people in casting or people who are looking to hire in audition settings, they they kind of enjoy the person that doesn't give
Sure.
off the energy that they need this.
Yep. No,
Like like
1,000%.
I feel like they really kind of go for like the person that's like I could take or leave this. Like kind of the person that's like you need me.
Well, it's
You know what I mean?
it,
Like I don't
that's a
need you. You need me. Are the people that they're like we need you.
yes. Well, it's like I hate to say it, but it's the whole thing with dating, even of like playing hard to
Yes.
get.
Yeah.
Like it's and sometimes people aren't playing, but it's like wait, but now I want you more because you don't really want me. Like it's a
Yeah.
I'm sure you know what someone's got to go to. My mom is actually a psychology person. I should ask her. There's probably like a
Yeah.
real like human psychology principle behind it, but also I feel like it's just the energy you give off too, because people I think
Oh, for sure.
underestimate like dance is a movement based, energy based thing, and when you're like in that like needy headspace, it translates into your movement too, and you're like,
Yeah.
whoa, you know, when you're like with someone, you're like, I'm uncomfortable, like you're trying too hard. It's
Yes.
like that's not. Let's not do that.
Yeah. I feel like we'll probably talk on this a little later, but I'm going to touch on it right now.
We can
So
jump around. This is
okay,
great.
great. So I recently assisted the Tuacon auditions. So I did
Hmm.
the Tuacon season and then I assisted them in LA. And I was noticing that. Like I was noticing, I was like, oh, like this person just feels really comfortable. Like I like them. I trust them. And then
Yeah.
the people who were either like putting so much of themselves forward, I was obviously super like, I'm so happy that you're like capable of doing that. But sometimes I was kind of like, okay, take like one step back.
Yeah.
like put a
Yeah.
lot out for sure, but also like we don't need to see all of it right now.
Well, it's like you gotta leave them wanting a little bit more, right? Like you can't just be like, "This is
Yes. Yeah.
everything I have to offer right now."
It's such a fine line though, because then, you know, if you kind of like, if you don't show enough, then they're like, oh, okay, that's all they can do.
Yeah, yeah.
It's so tricky.
But do
I
you think it?
really,
I would
yeah,
say, do you think it's like a technical thing though, or more of like again, like the energy thing? Because I feel like even some of the people who you're like, oh, they're giving the most, like they maybe do have better technique and a better whatever, but
yeah,
they're like trying to do too much.
yeah. I do think that it's all encompassing.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, because I'm very much dancer first, and
Hmm.
then, like acting, singing, I'd say acting second, singing least. And so I feel like for me being in the room, my biggest takeaway was if you're like if you're a dancer who sings, right? And
Hmm.
you're in the room and you are very confident as a dancer and you're showing that like you're really proficient in this, right? And
Hmm.
like casting is vibing with you and they're like, "Oh, this is incredible. Like they're such a good dancer."
Hmm.
And then if specifically if you're going for a musical theater thing, if later you then have to sing but you show up and you're like a completely different person, like you're very obviously showing that you're uncomfortable singing or that like this is weaker than you're dancing, like it really energetically, it really does kind of turn you off. It kind of goes like, oh, like it doesn't, you don't actually have to be, I mean, you do have to be good at singing if you want to be in a musical. But
Yeah.
my point being, you can get away with murder as long as you stand up there and you're like, blah, like if you just like do it, you know what I
Like
mean?
letting it go versus like being
Exactly.
timid,
Yeah.
because also like I feel like
Exactly.
if
Yeah.
you're not the best, I'm sure you can tell like okay, like you're clearly a dancer first, but like go off because you tried and gave it your all versus like
Yeah. I mean, there's
gotta
always,
own
you
it.
know, not everybody's gonna be Fierro. Like,
No.
not everybody's gonna be Elphaba, but also not a lot of Elphabas are gonna be dancing their ass off in Under the Sea. You know what I mean?
Right, right.
Like you need both. You need people who are gonna be like the heavy dance tracks that maybe don't have the same vocal chops as somebody who's gonna be the lead, but
Right.
you need them. Like there is a place for everyone.
And
And as
also
long as you come forward with like your authentic self and just like the confidence of like, this is what I have, take it or leave it, like
yeah.
they're gonna book you.
And I was gonna say also like the person that is the heavy dance track, like you do you really want to be Alphaba? Like if it were me, I'd
right?
be like, no, like I'm just trying to sing to make it on stage. Like I don't, it's
Yeah.
fine. And I
That
think
was me
people
last year
recognize that.
yeah, that was me last year for Tuacahn. We did Newsies and the big like now's the time to seize the day, the
Uh-huh.
big like moment, right?
Yeah.
I was like on zero, like front and center zero. And I remember kind of thinking to myself, I know that the music director's going to hate that I say this right now, but I don't care. I was there and I was like in the studio, I was like really pushing to be able to sing it. I was like, oh my God, this is hard. Like I'm really getting gassed like bad. And we had to do like 3 toe touches within this whole like this phrase like
Not a
the
toast.
section was very like it's time to just like put everything on the line, right?
Yeah.
And I'm 0-0. And I ultimately made the choice. I was like, you know what I'm here to do right now? I'm here to dance my ass off. I'm not here to sing. I was
Yeah.
like, I was like, the people who are off stage singing that are like the leads, they're
Yeah.
here to sing. And I was like, they're
Right.
gonna hold my vocal line. I'm lip syncing. I was like, what I need to do right now is do 3 toe touches. So I can't sing and do that at the same time.
Did he know that you didn't sing?
I mean, a lot of us didn't sing, if I'm being completely honest. Like a lot of us were not like it's not like I didn't sing at all,
Right.
but if I was gassed, if I was like, I have to take a breath here, I would start lip syncing.
I mean, is that not the point? Like,
Yeah,
I mean, I think that's fine. I don't know. I've never
yeah,
directed a musical like that. I would think it's fine.
yeah. I mean, there were
Whatever.
definitely people singing around me, and I was like, y'all are killing it.
You're like, it's not like it's quiet. Like, you're like, okay,
Yeah,
maybe if you're like no one singing, but then that's probably
yeah,
a bigger problem than
yeah,
we're talking about right now. But it's all good.
yeah.
Wait,
I
I
could
love that.
definitely go on Drag Race right now as a lip sync assassin. Let's put it that way.
Okay, it's a talent. It's a talent. Like, like some people, Brittany couldn't lip sync, so whatever.
Hey, work.
It's all good. Wait, oh, okay. I'm gonna get back to that. I'm gonna try to.
Yeah,
This is every episode. I pretend to stay on track, and this is what happens. But
no, it's fine.
I wanna because timeline.
Yeah,
You went to school for kinesiology.
I did. Yeah,
Was that like right after high school?
yeah. So I went to Orange County School of the Arts for high school. And when I was there, I did a little bit of musical theater training, primarily dance training. And then when I finished high school, I actually took like a gap year
Mm-hmm.
so that I could train and work. I was living in LA. I was like, let's do the thing, right? And within that gap year, because this was like technically my senior year, like I had taken a test to graduate early. I
Mm-hmm.
graduated my junior year. So for
Okay.
my senior year, yeah, so for my senior, what I did is I took like to get into college, I had to have like 4 years of English. So I just took like an online English course. And then what I did was I actually got my massage therapy license that year
Oh,
as well.
work.
So my mom was a director of admissions at a career school. It's called Charter College. And she was very much like, hey, like you have an interest in kinesiology. And my parents were also kind of like pushing me to not go to school for dance.
Yeah.
Like they were like, obviously dance. Like we're not saying don't have a career in dance, but they were like, when you're going to school, we would love for you to like do more than just a dance career, basically. Like they were like, we would
Well,
love for you to either go into physical therapy or like, just get a degree in like literally anything. And they were very much like, you can dance professionally, not in school.
correct. Well, so you
So
like literally, I feel like data was like
yeah,
essentially like a college, how it was run, if not more intense,
like
honestly.
training wise, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah,
So
like I definitely felt when I went to Cal State Long Beach that I was like really well prepared for what they were offering.
right.
And even same because of OSHA, because OSHA, it was a performing arts school. So we did academics during the day, and then we would have our conservatory for the second half of the day. So we were there from like 8 to 5 every day. And so we'd have like academics until about, I don't know, like 2, and then we'd have our conservatory from 2 to 5.
That's nice. Yeah.
And so within that as well, like I felt really, really well prepared going into a dance program for a collegiate level. Like I was like, okay, I've already done quite a bit of modern. Like I feel like when you go into a collegiate program, they're very much kind of being like, here are the more like somatic
Yeah.
uh like offerings
Hmm.
basically. And I felt like I was already kind of like, okay, I have a good understanding of this. Like this isn't new information to me.
Right. And also I feel like for at least my experience too, like I didn't have professional experience performing like and you kind of already I mean, I guess acting was a little different, but even on like So You Think and like all the other things, you kind of had your toes in the water of all that stuff anyways, where I feel like at least my program, it was like, okay, like if you want to perform, like let's get you like ready and like kind of try to tell you what it's like, even though it still is so different when you get out there anyway. But like
Yeah.
I feel like for a lot of people, they're like, okay, I'm gonna go to yes, the somatic part, but also I'm gonna go to college because I don't know how the real world works either.
Yeah. Yeah. Like I was already signed before I went, like with an agency
Casual.
before I went to college. And like
Yeah, like what's the
when we had
point?
our like professional development course and they were like telling us like how to build a resume and everything, I was like, okay, like I already have a resume. I'm gonna like uh build on it basically.
Right, right.
And like teaching us how to make reels and stuff. Like I was like, okay, like I have already done these type of things. I do think that they still offered me good information. Like it's not like
Yeah,
I was like, oh, I know all this. I don't need this course. Like I definitely needed the course. It helped because they were really like I definitely feel like that course specifically took me from being like a child performer to an adult performer. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Like it
Bridge the
helped me
gap
sort of like exactly like it helped me go from like, okay, my resume right now still says that I was on Hannah Montana and I haven't like really done any work up
forever.
like now I'm like 20 and I haven't like really worked professionally throughout my
Yeah,
like high school and college career because I've been
right.
in school.
And
So
training
that
and
really
yeah.
like it helped me bridge that gap to get into like, okay, I'm post grad, I'm ready to like take on a contemporary modern company.
Yeah, you like, gosh, talk about people being versatile dancers. I'm always like, you don't need to be that versatile, but like, I think I say that because I don't think most people can be as versatile as you are. Like,
Thank you.
I don't that. Okay, let's get into that. So, because you did tap, you were a tapper. I still am thinking about the video, but then was one step right after school then?
No, so okay, so I um graduated from Cal State Long Beach and then I moved to Chicago. So that's
Okay, that's
yeah,
when we
so then I
met.
moved to Chicago. Yeah. And then whilst I was in Chicago, so that was kind of I really feel like for me moving to Chicago was the big step that I really was like I'm putting my professional career first,
Yeah.
like
So
as an adult.
what were you? Why did you pick Chicago?
I did dance works. I did the intensive.
Uh,
Yeah.
Oh, wait, but
So,
that was just a summer, right? But then you
yeah.
loved it. But you're like,
And then
I'm
I
gonna
just was like
stay.
I'm not leaving.
I love it here. It's a fun place
Yeah.
to be. Yeah.
Yeah, so I had graduated from Cal State Long Beach, and what was really cool is one of the you probably know her, Becca Lemmy.
Oh, that sounds so familiar.
She's from Chicago, and
Okay.
she worked a lot with Nick Pupillo
Uh
for
huh.
Visceral,
Yes.
and she now is tenure. Excuse me, she's tenure at Cal State Long Beach where I went to school. So,
Okay.
anyways, she has a really good connection with Julie, and so she would always pick like every year, every summer, basically, she could pick two students to go on scholarship, basically for DanceWorks.
Okay.
And so she had chosen me and my really good friend Colleen. So the two of us, we committed to going to the intensive. And then as I was like committed, because I think we were there for like a month
Yeah.
because we did like the whole.
It was a
It's
long
like
one.
yeah, it's like broken up into weeks, but we with the scholarship that we were given, we were just like we're doing the whole thing. Like it's like a month long. You can split it up into weeks, or you can do like the whole thing.
Yeah. Why not? I
So we were
guess.
just like, why not? We're like, we have a discount, so we're just gonna go.
Yeah.
So we go, we've like paid, we're all settled, we're good. And then one of my really good family friends, their son went to Loyola in Chicago.
Uh huh.
So they had a apartment out there. And so I reached out and I was just kind of like, hey, like, would it be okay if me and my friend like crash at your apartment? And then he starts being like, "Oh, I'm actually moving out." And I was like, "Oh, you're moving out?" And he's like, "Yeah, like I'm moving like closer to the loop, basically." He was
Uh
like,
huh.
"I've graduated college, like I'm going into like more of
Yeah.
the city, basically."
Yeah.
Um, and so then I started going like, "Oh, okay." I was like, "Well, because the his parents are like we're really good family friends. I've known them since I was like in diapers.
Because
And so I like reach out to his parents and I'm kind of like, "Are you planning on getting rid of this
they
condo?"
owned it.
Or
Yeah.
they owned it. Yeah. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Are you like what's going on with this condo?" And they said, "Oh, like we were planning on getting rid of it cuz Stuart's not there anymore."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay, well, I think I'm going to move in." And
How
then
about
they were
that?
like, yeah, and then they were like, "Okay." So I moved in, got roommates and lived in Chicago for about 11 months.
Wow.
And then so this is how this kind of gets into chips is
Yes.
I was in Chicago. I was like, I'm getting into a contemporary dance company. I was like, let's do it.
There were
But
more back
then
then, like a little bit more.
what'd you say?
And there were some more contemporary companies
Yes.
there back
I was
then.
just about to say
Mm-hmm.
that was right around the time that everything started folding.
Mm-hmm.
And so I felt like I moved there and I was like, wow, like everything is kind of like not like collapsing around me, but I did just kind of feel like I was like, okay, if you're not in Juilliard, which like that's too late for me, or Hubbard, which I was like, I feel like you really have to like, and this is not a bad thing, but I do feel like you really have to build a connection with them before you are like really considered to be in that company.
Yeah.
And I was brand new. I had lived there for like you know, I don't know, maybe 5 months before the audition came up. So I was like, I'll go, but I doubt
Yeah.
I'm gonna get it.
Right.
Um, so yeah, I was kind of like, unless you're in like those two companies, like you're kind of just freelancing for the year.
Yeah.
And not that freelancing is bad in Chicago. I was there for 11 months and I did freelance for that time frame.
Yeah. But it takes a
Um,
special type of person to like continue doing that long term.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, one of my friends ended up calling me and was like, "Hey, there's a Royal Caribbean audition."
Mm,
Excuse me. And was like, "Do you want to go with me?" And I had like auditioned for all the companies. I even like went to Salt Lake City and auditioned for Ryrie. Like I was like putting my name out there for any contemporary company ever, basically. And was getting like I was getting to the point of like it'd be between me and one other person, and then they would
yeah.
like pick the other person because they graduated from Juilliard. And I was like, cool. I was like, okay, cool, cool, cool.
You're like,
Like
Mom and
I'm
Dad, you steered
getting
me wrong. Just kidding.
exactly, yeah. I was like, I've gotten the reassurance that like I'm a proficient dancer within these
Right.
auditions, but like I'm not quite like breaking through the mold. And I do think that a lot of it kind of attributes to like now that I'm back in my like jazz bag, like tap
Hmm.
musical theater, I do think a lot of it attributes to like I was just not like contemporary enough. Like if I'm just being completely honest, like
Wait,
I don't think that
really?
I was I think they were looking for that Juilliard type of grad because they were just a little bit more like just
Artsy, I
like
feel like. Yeah, I know
yeah,
what
it's
you're
not
trying to
even
say though.
necessarily that they were like artsy. I just think that like it was a little bit of a mask for me. Like it
Yes.
kind of like what we were saying with auditions. Like I do think
Yeah.
I was putting something on
Because
to
you're
like fit in.
do you feel like it didn't feel as like natural to you to move that way, or you were more like a heady thing?
I think that I think my training was like it led me to be a contemporary dancer. Like I
Hmm.
definitely like I trained at West Side Dance Company. You know, I trained at Divion Dance Academy. I trained at OSHA and Cal State Long Beach. Like all of that led me to be this like well-rounded modern contemporary dancer, right?
Hmm.
So it didn't feel inauthentic to me. Like my training had led me there.
Yeah.
But I do think just like at my core, like I'm just a little jazzerina.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of like what really like fuels me and I feel like makes me stand out as a performer
Yeah.
more than like I don't think that can I don't think that I can edge people out as a contemporary dancer,
That makes sense.
if that
Well,
makes
it's
sense.
no, it
Versus as like
does.
a tap dancer or a jazz dancer, I feel like there's just like it'd be the same thing for a contemporary dancer going to a jazz call. Like they'd be like, okay,
Yeah.
I've trained my whole life in jazz. It's not like I don't know how to do jazz dance, but
It's
like
just different. I mean, I
it's
literally
different. Yeah,
compare it to like different languages. It's like contemporary is not your first language.
exactly.
Like
Yeah,
you can do it, you're fluent in it, but it's just like still never going to be the same as
exactly. Yeah.
what you were like trained in. So I
I
totally,
think that's a great analogy. Yeah.
yeah, like I relate to that for sure. So you were good enough, but like not. It's
Yeah,
tough
like
out there.
it's not like I wasn't in the same circles as everyone. Like
Yeah.
I definitely was like a part of the community. It's not like I was like like what's he doing here? You know what I mean? It's not
Like,
like
oh, this
woo,
guy,
like
why
wow,
is he
he's
here?
really going for it with this one.
Yeah, like what? No, I
But yeah, I do think that like ultimately when it came down to like we're picking one person, like I just wasn't like we said earlier, energetically, you know, just what I had to offer wasn't what they were looking for.
yeah, it just was not aligned with like what
Yeah.
you were probably your
So
soul was meant to be doing.
that whole long-winded story to say, I show up to a Royal Caribbean audition and
Oh
I'm
yeah.
kind of like, you know, my ego is very much like, I'm gonna do a contemporary company. I don't care about Royal Caribbean, especially I think growing up in LA, um, like doing a cruise ship job is kind of like it's kind of like just being like, I guess I'm retired now. Because if you were to like
Interesting.
do, yeah, like the perspective of growing up in LA and doing ships is like, cool, you're throwing your career down the drain. Like for sure. That's
Wow.
very much the perspective of growing, because it's kind of like also when I moved to Chicago, so many people were like, why are you leaving LA? Like this is where everybody wants to
I
move
was gonna
to.
say that. Like, it's just
Yeah.
different when you're doing a cruise ship and you live in like Omaha, Nebraska. Like, that's cool. You're breaking out. But like, yeah, when you live in a
Yeah. When
hub,
you live
like
in
you're
LA and
leaving.
you're like, I could also be backup dancing for like Beyonce. Like
Uh,
that's where people kind of go like, okay, cool, you're on a cruise ship, so what? So I definitely my perspective going into that audition was just kind of like I'm throwing my career down the drain, basically.
oh,
So, but I also was kind of like I had this perspective, like I said earlier, of like you need me more than I need you,
yeah.
right? So I do the audition I like 2 days later get a call from casting and they're like, hey, we have a contract offer for you. And at the time, I had already committed to going to the Northwest Dance Project summer intensive. And that was like my dream company to be in. I was so excited that they accepted me to be in their summer program because I was like, oh my God, then I can audition for the company and
Yeah.
like hopefully I get in. Right. So they personally call me. I'm on the phone with who I didn't know was like head of casting at the time. And
Awesome.
I'm like, oh my God, thank you so much for this contract offer. What are the dates? They tell me the dates, the starting dates, and it's like at the same time as the intensive that I've like already paid for.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh my God, thank you so much for this offer. But like, I'm going to have to turn this down because I already have prior engagements. And I could just tell like the way that he spoke back was like, oh, okay, like we'll keep you in mind for other things then. And so I hang up and I was like, I think I made a really big mistake. I think I need to call him back. So I called my friend, Miranda Borkin. I called her and I was like, I just turned this down. Do you think that's bad? And she literally was like, you need to call him back right now. And I was like, okay. So I call him
Hard.
back. Yeah. So I call him back because I'm kind of like, my perspective is what Northwest Dance Project is incredible. It's my dream company. I definitely want to be in it, but that's not a guaranteed job. I was like,
Right.
I'm paying to go there. I'm auditioning for their company still versus this is a job. Like they have
Right.
literally been like, this is yours for the taking, basically. So within like, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes, I call him back. And, I'm kind of
Just
like, oh
kidding.
man, I don't remember his name. I don't remember like all I got was the contract offer. I was like, I hope that like I don't go to some like just
Right.
like
Random person.
receptionist that then I'm like, hi, like I was just offered a contract. like I don't want to sound weird, right? So
Yeah.
anyways, luckily it was his personal cell phone. So he answers and
And
he's like,
phew.
hello. And I was like, hi. I was like, this is Jack Taylor. You just offered me a contract that I turned down and I'm actually gonna accept it. And he's like, yeah, that sounds great. Okay. So, anyways, all
Okay.
of that
Awesome.
happens. Yeah. So then that's how I started going toward ships.
Yeah.
And I did 3 contracts with Royal Caribbean. They were incredible. And then after my third contract with Royal Caribbean, this is now like pandemic timeframe.
Hmm.
And, everything. So I actually was performing during the pandemic on
The
cruise
ships.
ships. Yeah.
That's
We
nice.
were like the first ship back in service. It was October 2020 and we were kind of like the guinea pig for
Yeah.
the
Ooh,
cruise industry. Basically, it was
right.
wild. But anyways, all of that to get to step one. So finished, when I finished that last contract with Royal, I was back at home and I was kind of like, okay, like I'm going to take some time. And then my friend who was head of casting for step one at the time, um, he had posted on his story. He was like, hey, I'm looking for a 6 foot tall dancer that could get to New York on Monday
I said, oh,
and start this contract. And I was kind of like, oh, okay. So I like looked it up. I didn't know much about step one, but I was kind of like, because it was still pretty new at the time.
yeah.
And so I was like, okay, let's look it up. And so he was a friend of mine. So I literally just like DM'd him back and was like, hey, like I could be available. And he was like, oh my God. And keep in mind, this is like Friday. He wants me to start Monday in New York. And I
Same.
was like, I'm in California. And
Yeah.
and I'm like, yeah, I mean, I'm used to doing ships and like getting on a contract
Yeah.
immediately. So within the hour, I had a contract, and I was like, this is wild. So I kind of like look at my parents. I'm like, hey, uh, like I'm
Leaving.
leaving tomorrow, basically. Like I was like, I'm heading to New York in like a day. Like I have to pack. I have to go. I have to pack right now. And they're like, what? And so I tell them this whole story about like my friend and everything. And then they're like, okay, great. Like go have fun.
Bye.
So then I get to New York and they rehearse out of the RWS studios in Astoria.
Mhm.
And when I moved to Chicago, I actually really wanted to move to New York, but
There it is.
but I was really nervous about the cost and I was really nervous
Mhm.
about just like, I don't know. I was just kind of like, I don't see I was
It's
really
intimidating.
comfortable moving to Chicago because I already had a living situation
Yeah.
and I was kind of like, I can figure something out here. Like I was like, I have a reason to be in not New York, sorry. I have a reason to be in Chicago because I'm doing an intensive and then like, hopefully I book it at the end and all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
Versus New York, I was kind of like, that's big and scary.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So now I'm in New York on a contract for step one. And as I'm there, I'm kind of like noticing all of my peers that I've met through Chicago, that I've met through college, through high school, through Dada, through OSHA, through,
Yeah.
like all of my peers that are now in New York City. And I have a moment and I go, they're all poor. I'm like, they make it work, so I can make it
So
work.
I can do it.
Yes.
No, I
So
mean, it's like kind of
yeah.
part of the lore, the New York lore. Just you
Yes.
have to be poor for at least a little bit.
Yes. So that's when I started going like, I'm moving here after this contract. Like I was like, I was like, because our rehearsal time period was like 2 months. It was pretty long because
Oh yeah, that is long.
we were workshopping a new show. We were like the takeout cast for a new show.
Nice, yeah.
So we had like learned, we did 4 shows on that contract. So we had learned the first three, and then the fourth one was like set on us.
Mm,
So we had like, I don't know, like within the first month, we basically learned the first 3 shows. And then we had
mm.
like another month to sort of like put together this new
Sure,
one.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, so then we go on board and I'm like, ooh, this is great. And then I went to do a saute fouette and the ship rocked and I didn't know where the floor was. And I rolled my ankle and it was over for me. I broke my foot and I was like,
Oh,
okay. I was like, cool, this is good to know. It was my fifth metatarsal dancer injury. And I was like,
um,
okay, but everybody was kind of like, this is a really quick injury. It takes people told me literally I would be back on board within like 2 months. Like people were like, it's like a 6-week recovery. You're going to be fine. I was like, sounds great.
great, awesome.
Yeah. I was like, can't wait. Love it. So then a month goes by and I'm seeing this podiatrist. He's doing x-rays of my foot and he's like, it's not healing. And I was like, okay, cool. Like 2 months go by. We take new x-ray images and he's like, it's still not healing. 3 months, 4 months, I'm not even kidding. It was like 4 months of my foot just like not doing anything.
Wait,
So
because they wasn't
ultimately,
operated on? No, because it was just the metatarsals. They just
no,
like
they didn't
splint
need
it.
to. Yeah. So the way that it broke, hold on, let me do this because I can't do that with my shoulder. So it broke like this. So like all they had to do
Oh,
was just kind of, yeah, if this is the bone, it broke like it just kind of
it's
like,
separated.
yeah. So like
Weird.
the images were all like this basically. So all I had to do was just like fill in. Like it didn't
It
need
would you could grow
resetting.
more bone
Yeah,
in
like
theory.
the podiatrist literally told me they're like, it will just like grow and heal itself. Like they're like, all that happened is it's just like this. So that space in between will come back together.
Interesting.
And I
He
was like,
said,
okay.
actually
And he
not
didn't,
though.
yeah, I know. And he was like, he told me, he was like, yeah, like I don't need to reset it. We don't need to do surgery on it. He was like, you can just like rest for the first month and then we'll, reassess and all that stuff. And so like, I'm not even kidding. 4 months of me not having any results. And if anything, my foot was just getting weaker because I wasn't walking on it.
Right.
I wasn't like I was always on crutches. Like there was nothing to like keep it um
Like mobile.
challenged. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then one day I just decided on my own, I was like, I'm just gonna start fucking walking. I was like, I'm just gonna walk because
Did
if
it
I don't
hurt?
start, oh yeah, it hurt. But I would like walk with my crutches.
Okay.
And I was just kind of like, I'm just gonna start doing it because I need to. I got a second opinion from another doctor,
Mm,
and he very much was like, how long has it been? It's been 4 months and nothing's happened. And so he was kind of the one that told me, he's like, just start walking on it. He was like, it will heal if you just start walking on it. And
second
also at the
opinion
time
advice. Yep.
at the time I was vegan and I spoke to a nutritionist and she was like, I highly recommend that you start implementing meat back into your diet because that will also help invigorate growth. And I was like, okay. So yeah, I got like a stimulator to put like an electric stim
Yeah.
to put on my foot. I don't
Oh,
even
that's
know.
like
I got the works to make it like
so I've done
start.
it on my like back and shoulder, but like the foot kind of freaks me out to think about the
Yeah.
like the pulsing from that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Oh,
I did like so many different things to get it to start happening. And then it finally started healing. But even still, it took like a total of a year to really, really heal.
what
Um,
like when you were in that though and nothing was happening, were you like, am I gonna dance again? Or like what is
yeah, I
happening
mean,
to my body?
I was about to be 30. I was 29 at the time, and it was like getting closer and closer to my 30th birthday. And I remember kind of thinking, I was like, maybe this is it. I was like,
Yeah.
maybe this is my dance career. Like the biggest thing that I was concerned about was I knew that I would dance again. Like I was like, I'm not concerned about like taking class
Yeah.
and, just like doing fun things that I want to do. I was mostly concerned about like, will I be able to use like I have a certain just like expectation of myself as a performer. And so I was
Mm-hmm.
like, will I always be under, like, has this officially, will I never go above that,
At my
basically? Like, will
peak,
I never
yeah.
be able to like reach that same potential again? Like, has my foot actually taken me like down a notch?
Yeah, no, that makes
That was kind
sense.
of my biggest concern. And
But
that
it
kind of bleeds
didn't.
into what I was talking about earlier about my ego.
So
And so
this was the time
that's,
around, this is when we had to go on this journey.
yes, yes.
Okay. Or love.
So that was when I was like, all right, Jack, I was like, you're a human first. Like, your your dancing is something that you do. It doesn't define you. It's not something that you like, I think it's this is outside of just as a performer. I think us in general as humans, one of the first things we do is we go like, "Hi, I'm Jack. I'm a blank. I'm a
Mm-hmm.
doctor. I'm a architect. I'm a whatever." Right? And I think we get so wrapped up in whatever our thing is as our ego and identity. I think it is worse as performers because it's something that we start at from so little that like we really like, I mean, I'm assuming you've probably been dancing since you were like 3.
Yeah, of course.
like
Every
you
girl,
know what I
right?
mean? Like
Yeah.
we grow up in this thing and then we become Rockettes and we start performing on So You Think You Dance. Like we do all these things and we're like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. It gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And
Yeah.
then it gets to a point where you either have an injury or you just go like, I don't love this anymore. Or,
Yeah.
like you have these moments of like, oh, what have I done up until this point now?
For sure. And I say too, I feel like the added layer for dancers, performers specifically, is it's like not typically, unless you're like the 0.01%, it doesn't always maybe love you back in the way that you love it, where, it's really competitive and
Yeah.
a lot of things don't pay well. So you don't have like a great like sense of living. And so then you're doing it because you love it so much and you
Hmm.
can't, like, how do you turn it off? Like, you're a
Yeah.
school teacher, you go to school, you do your thing, you lesson plan, you grade papers, you come home, whatever, you know what I mean? Where it's
Yeah.
like for us, it's like, okay, I'm sitting here right now, but I could be at the gym, I could be taking a class, I could be doing, and it's just like, it's all you can think about. So then when you
Yeah.
take it away, you're like, whoa, wait a minute, what have I been doing?
Yeah. And that's a big reason why my parents were really big on me doing a kinesiology degree.
Yeah.
We kind of glazed over that, but basically I got my BFA in dance and then I also got my BA in dance science.
Yeah, I do have a whole note card
Um,
on it. Actually, I did just put it down, but I actually started as I majored in exercise science and dance,
Hell yeah.
but I dropped it after one semester because I was like, no, I just want to dance, which, like, no regrets, but like regrets, because I think it's, especially something like that, it can inform your dancing and your movement so much.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely like, so when I was in Chicago, I worked at Athletico.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like a PT aide for that. That really, for me, I've always kind of like put in the universe, like, okay, after a professional dance career, I'm going to go back to school and get my physical
Mm-hmm.
therapy degree. And like now that I'm kind of like reaching that point in my life where I'm kind of like, okay, I'm either going to do it or I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
I think what really solidified it for me was working at Athletico because when I was working there, they worked with Hubbard Street. So
Yeah.
I was like,
Yes,
"Oh,
they
cool."
did.
I was like, "This is exactly what I would want to do." I was like, the specific one that I went to was the only Athletico that worked directly with Hubbard Street.
Yeah, because I did the Hubbard
So,
intensive and we had a whole, like, once a week, because it was like 4 weeks, Athletico would come in. I'm like,
yes.
wow, we're rekindling memories for me. I'm like,
Yes. No, I
that I had
know.
buried.
So yeah, so when we like there were two or there were three actually. There were three therapists there that were the people that would go
Mhm.
to Hubbard. And like twice they were like, "Do you want to come with us?" And I was like, "Are you kidding?" Yes. And then
Yeah.
Hubbard would also like come, excuse me. Oh my God, breakfast. The if they had like an active injury, they would come to our clinic as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so it was nice because whenever a dancer would show up, they'd always have me work with them.
Yeah.
Just because I was like, this is what I want to be doing.
Yeah.
So that really solidified for me that I do want to go back to school and work on like either exercise science or like dance physio or something like
Mhm.
within that niche.
Yeah.
Just because I mean, I'm sure you've had it, especially as a Rockette, like the injuries that we experience are not typical
Normal.
athletic injuries. Um,
And I
so
think the
yeah, whenever
recovery is different too, where it's
yeah,
like, we always had trainers where it was like, okay, if it was a regular doctor, regular person, like, you're on bed rest, you're not doing anything, but we get it. Like, you're a dancer and you have a job to do. So, like, this is what we're going to do to, like, get you
yeah,
to where you need to be. So, and it's just
yeah.
different. And I've heard of so many dancers having to, like, go to so many different doctors and get opinions, because some
Yeah.
doctors are just like, yeah, no.
You're
they just
fine.
don't get it. But
Yeah.
it's nice to have someone that gets it and someone that's had freaking injuries
Yeah, that was a
to
big
go
one for
through
my
it.
foot. Yeah, that was a big one for my foot is I had to explain to the physical therapist. I was like, "Okay, cool." I was like, "You've gotten me to the point that I can walk and run and jump, right?" And I was like, "But I need to be able to like go up on releve and stay forever." You know what I mean? I was like,
Never
I
come
need to be
down.
able, yeah, I was like, I need to be able to like from standing roll over my foot, like roll, because I broke
Yeah.
this part of my foot, right? So I was like,
Mm,
I need to from standing be able to like roll over my foot. Like that's like something that I'm gonna have to do pretty regularly. And he was like,
yeah.
oh, and I also was like barefoot too, not in a shoe.
Yeah.
You know
No.
what I mean? Like I
You're
was
a
like,
raw
I need
dog
to
in
be
that.
able,
Yep.
exactly. Yeah. I was like, I need to be able to do, I basically gave him a list of things that I was like, I need to be able to do this before you sign me off of being like
Hmm.
ready to work again.
Which is a great thing for people like who are dealing with injuries and aren't lucky enough to be going to someone who understands dance to just like be able to advocate for yourself in that way and just
Yeah.
like I feel like I've had this with my whole like colonoscopy thing, which is not related at all, but just the idea of advocating yourself when you're
Yeah.
dealing with doctors and things because I saw like a reel or something and it was like, like we're paying doctors, like they're like working for us. I'm like,
Yeah.
that part, yeah. So just say what you
Yes.
need and like tell them what you
Yeah.
because if he would have signed off, your insurance probably would have stopped, right? Or whatever.
Yeah.
That yeah, yeah. Where it's like,
Yeah.
yeah, I
That
can walk, but
was,
I can't work.
yeah, I'm definitely very vocal. Like, I'm very, like, right now with my shoulder, I'm very much like, am I doing this correctly? Am I, like
Yeah,
when they give me new exercises, I'm always kind of like triple check because I think what also happens for dancers is they kind of write us off. They're like, oh, they know what they're doing, and
yeah,
it's like I do actually know what I'm doing just because I've studied it and I've worked in a
yeah,
clinic. Like I do know what I'm doing, but I always am kind of like I get it. They have a lot of paperwork that they have to do. They're like, they've got their clients like all stacked up. They're probably trying to like prepare for like weeks out in advance of whatever the thing is. But every once in a while, I am there's very just kind of like, is this correct? This is what I'm feeling. I'm, experiencing a little bit of pain. Like people don't talk, which is wild. They tell me all the time. They're like, we love how vocal you are because you actually tell us like what's going like when they're stretching my arm and
yeah,
everything. I'll tell them like that's my limit. You know what I mean? Like I'll just be like,
yeah.
that's like as far as I can go. And they say, thank you for telling us that. They're like, you'd be surprised how many people just like sit in agony. Yeah.
That's so what? Like
Yeah.
how?
I don't
I
know.
don't. I mean, it's like that body awareness, I guess, of like
Yeah.
knowing. Maybe you're just also like sensitive to like, hey, like don't mess me up even more. Did you get your shoulder one dancing, or was that a fluke thing?
Yeah. So that was while I was at Tuacahn Amphitheater. It popped out while I was performing. And yeah, so I
Always
have,
performing for you too. Like it can't just be
yeah.
like it can't be a rehearsal one. Of course not.
Okay. You know what what I've definitely noticed is, and this isn't necessarily a bad thing. I think this is just kind of, maybe you've also experienced a similar thing. I feel like inevitably the only times I've ever really injured myself is in a show performance because
Yeah,
you're like a little less warm than you are in a class.
the adrenaline.
You're Yeah, you're a little bit more like it's something that you've done multiple times, so you're not quite as like aware. You know what I mean? You're just kind
Yeah.
of like, oh yeah, like this is like what I've rehearsed to do. I know what this is.
Yeah, you're like on
Um,
autopilot a little bit.
exactly. Yeah, like I feel like I'd say in general, most injuries do happen while performing, not in a rehearsal or class setting because of like what I just listed, like being warm, like
Yeah,
doing something for the first time. You're just a little bit more cautious. Like,
you're thinking more. Yeah, you're literally like
yeah,
unfortunately, you're literally thinking more, which sounds
yeah,
crazy, but you're just having to use your brain and stay present
yeah,
in a different way. Because like performing, and I feel like you're performing and you're in the moment and living, and then you're like, oh wait, that too far. That was too
yeah,
far. Did
yeah.
you finish the show?
I did.
I
It
don't even know
was,
why I asked. I'm not surprised.
yeah, yeah. It was, well, because it popped out and I was like, ow, but it was the Wizard of Oz. So we weren't like dancing.
Hmm.
Um, it had popped out because my arm had slipped. I was like doing like a cartwheel on someone's back and my arm, like I can't demonstrate it on my left side. My arm just like, you know what I mean? Like I kind of just like
Yeah.
slipped on their back. And then when that happened, it went like, like it like popped out really quickly. And
Uh,
this was also an issue that I had been having like all season. Like my right side also popped out once, and I was like, "This is why." I was like, "Why are my shoulders popping out?
yeah.
This is
Why?
weird."
That is weird.
I do have hypermobile shoulders, and I've always known this about myself. But for some reason, this past summer, 2025, they were like really hypermobile. Like,
They just
I
said
don't
no
know.
more.
Yeah. But what was crazy is my right side is like way more hypermobile than my left. So both of them had popped out at one point and I had written them down. So I went through workers' comp. I went and got an MRI on both of my shoulders. And my left one had only popped out once versus my right has popped out like over the years multiple times.
It's
So
more resilient.
well, who knows? But yeah, like I'll never forget the very first time it ever happened. Oh, it was like actually, do you get squeamish? Do you get like weirded out by stuff like
Yeah,
that?
but just go ahead. Just
Okay,
let it out.
so it's not terrible, but it was bad. So I had to catch someone. Hold on, let me move myself a little bit. I had to catch someone like this, right? And they were like, they like were in a ball. Like I like caught them by
And just with
their
one arm out,
yeah. So I
like you
had to
just
catch
scoop
them
them
with
up.
one arm. Yeah, like they were running and then they jumped and I caught them with one arm.
That's really
And
impressive.
they were like in a ball, right? Like I caught them through like their stomach. And, you know, we had rehearsed it multiple times. It was fine. And then for some reason, this one time I went to catch and it went, and it like she just had a little bit more momentum than usual.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I went a little too like aggressively in. So then it like popped out and I was like, whoa, that was because I had to hold her. I couldn't let her go. So I was like,
On stage, of
whoa,
course, not in rehearsal.
this one was in rehearsal
Oh,
actually.
okay. Okay.
But it was minor. It was like a little, like just a quick
But it went
little
right
like
back.
immediately. Yeah.
Oh, weird.
So yeah, so that was just a crazy little like click clack moment. And so that was the first time it ever happened. Excuse me, it ever happened. And then like every, I don't know, couple of years, it would kind of have a similar reaction, like a little pop out moment.
Jump scare.
And yeah, so basically what I did get confirmation from the doctor is they're like, once it's popped out once, it will continue to pop out. So that's why when I had confirmation after the MRI that my left was a torn labrum, they were very much like, you have to get surgery. They're like, they were just like, your shoulder, specifically as a performer, they were just like, your shoulder will always be an issue. Like, you need to get it. You need to get surgery. You need to like tighten it back up, basically. Yeah.
Man.
So
But
no
at
more
least,
overhead presses for me.
yeah, those are my favorite. Anyways, like it's
Yeah.
okay. You can like kiss
Overrated. Who
those.
needs them?
Kiss goodbye. How long are you
Yeah.
out now from like
So I
surgery?
had surgery March 29th. So I'm what? I think this is like 11 weeks post-op right now.
Yeah.
Um, and I think it'll be like about a 6-month recovery. So
Which is
like in the,
crazy because you had actual surgery on it and it's going to be shorter than your foot was.
I know. Well, I thought that was actually something that was really reassuring to me was
Yeah.
because I was like, because everybody kept asking me, they're like, are you nervous for surgery? And I was kind of like, why is everybody like asking me this question? I was like, I'm not that nervous.
Well,
And
I'm going
then
to be asleep. Like, what do you mean?
exactly. Yeah. And then I started like hearing people talking about like post surgery, like having issues. And I was like, oh, okay, I guess this makes sense why they're asking me. Like, everybody just kept asking me how I'm feeling. And I was like, am I supposed to be feeling something?
Yeah.
I was like,
You're like,
I feel fine.
am I
I don't know.
missing something? Yeah. You're like,
Yeah.
wait.
I was like, why is everybody asking me how I'm feeling? I was like, I don't feel bad.
You're like, I'm not
So,
sick. It's just
anyways,
going to get fixed.
yeah. So but prior to surgery, that was very much my headspace was I was like, they're going to go in and fix it. I was like, my foot never got fixed. I just had to
Right.
like wait for it to like do whatever it was going to do.
Sounds like magic. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was, like you just said, that was a big thing for me was I was like, I'm actually not excited, but I'm like, I'm totally fine with surgery because they're going to go in and then it's going to be done. And then all I have to
Yes.
do is just like get it back to where it was.
Yeah. No, that's so reassuring because I mean, I still couldn't even believe your foot thing. Like, they're like, oh, yeah, this is going to,
Yeah.
I'm like, that something don't sound right about that. But
Yeah.
do you think that your background with PT and just kinesiology in general has helped with the actual like process? Because you go to PT, you're probably doing stuff on your own at home, right?
Yeah. So what we've been doing, which has actually been really nice, is I only have PT once a week, and then they
Mm-hmm.
give me exercises to do at home. So it's been nice because it's really like spread out my time. Because I
Yeah.
mean, like basically, when I had my first referral for PT, it said like twice a week, 6 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and my PT was just kind of like, honestly, you don't need to be here twice a week. They're like, this will be a waste of visits because it's not like, they're like, if you came in on a Monday and a Wednesday, like, I'm not going to give you new exercises on that Wednesday.
Right.
Like,
And
she
they
was like, we're
trust you
just
to
going to
do it.
like,
Yeah.
exactly. They're like, we're just going to keep reiterating the same thing. So she was like, she told me, she was like, I would rather do once a week for 12 weeks because like my follow-up appointment for the surgeon wasn't for like 3 months. So she was kind of like, she's like, we're just going to need to get more anyways if we
Yeah.
do this 6 week thing. So we extended out for 12 weeks. So I go once a week.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, so that's been nice. So I have a lot of downtime at home. I've been posting on TikTok all my little exercises and
I
stuff.
gotta go on TikTok. I don't scroll TikTok. I need to. I'm gonna follow when we are done with this
So
and
my
go watch them
TikTok,
all.
my TikTok handle is it's official Dandruff Danny, just like as a gag.
Yes, yes. See the
And I don't
lore is
really
so
post
good.
any Hannah Montana stuff just because I think it's like silly. But I've been like, I don't know. I'm by no means am I a content creator, but I do feel like with my uh, PT journey, I was kind of like, oh, this would be fun to document.
Yeah, yeah.
So what has been really nice is I just recently posted my like 11-week post-op
Mhm.
PT like exercises that I'm
Yeah.
doing. And then I went back because the one that I had posted prior to that was 7 weeks. And so when when you're doing these day in, day out, you're kind of like, oh my God, like I don't see the progress. Like
Mhm.
I don't know, like you're doing it every day and you're kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, sure. Maybe I have a little bit more range of motion, but like it's not much, right?
Yeah.
So then when I went back and watched my 7 week, I was like, oh wow, I've actually made a lot of improvement. I didn't realize
Yeah.
how much improvement I actually had
That's a
made
long
within.
time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much improvement I had made within that time frame. So that was really exciting and really reassuring. I think I
For
literally posted it
yourself.
like 2 days ago. Yeah. So yesterday and the day before, I was really just like, wow, like okay, I'm really doing the thing.
Like you're like, I'm feeling better. This is actually working. It's
Yes.
like when you are with a
Yeah.
baby every day and you're like, they don't look any older. But then people who haven't seen them, they're like, whoa, what happened to you? Like,
They're
that's
huge. Yeah.
crazy. That's so big now. Oh my gosh. No, well, and I think it's nice too, because that was a big part of a year or two ago when I started posting. It was just like letting people feel less alone too. And I'm sure there's people watching your content and being like, oh, wait, I actually can like get back to what I was doing because
Yeah.
I feel like there's this weird stigma of people not talking about injuries because then they're afraid it's going to make them look like they can't be hired or they can't whatever, where it's like,
Yeah.
I mean, look at all the professional like sports athletes that get injured and come back. I
All
mean,
the
some
time.
don't, but they're always getting injured and they're just taken care of and it's fine.
Yeah.
We also kind of glazed over this for a second, but I want to go back
Yeah.
to the identity piece when you went back to when you first had your foot happen to you.
Yes.
You're
Yeah.
like, I need to be a human outside of this. A quick pause for a sponsor break from me, your host, and your sponsor. Okay, but in all honesty, if you've made it this far, I know this episode is speaking to you in some way. And if someone else came up in your mind that also needs to hear this, please take a moment to share it with them. And if you haven't already, hit the follow button or subscribe button. Thank you. Love you. Now back to it. Did you do things specifically? Like what kind of things shifted in your mind? And did you have to like try new things or like what was that like?
Yeah. So I would say that my foot injury was not just timeline wise, but also just like location of injury was way worse than my shoulder because I couldn't walk.
Yeah.
So I really was like in bed. Like I did not for the first 4 months, I did not do like anything
It's like well, you
versus
didn't have to experience COVID, so this was like your COVID of being like
right. I know.
trapped.
Yeah.
Oh,
But for my shoulder, it's been much easier. I mean, like I couldn't drive for the first like six
mhm.
weeks just
Yeah, when I thought
because
you were like driving and I was like,
yeah.
do you want me to pay for an Uber for you? Like and you're like, no, fine.
I was like, no, 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 I'm good. Um, but yeah, like I can especially now I don't have the sling on, like I can do quite a bit.
Yeah.
But just like from the get-go, like being able to walk was huge for my shoulder versus my foot. So a big thing that I started doing, I've always knit and crocheted. Like I've always kind of done it as a hobby.
Uh-huh.
But then when I was like bedridden, I just had a thought. I was like, I need something to do, and I'm ADD. So I was like, I
Yeah.
need something to do. Like I can't just sit here all day. And I can't I'm also not the type that like can just watch a series and just kind of like
All
veg out. Like
day.
I need
Yeah.
to do something. Like
Mhm.
I can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm like just gonna relax for the day.
No.
That's not my gig. Me relaxing for the day is like, oh, I slept in. And then I
Yeah,
like
no,
go
for
and do
sure.
things.
Or
You know what I
mine's
mean?
like I did things all day and then it's like 7 o'clock. Like, okay, now I can have a glass of wine and like watch a movie and go to bed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm more of like a either like a wind down or like a like
Ease
revving up
in.
kind of
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah. Like
Yeah.
that's my
Relaxing.
exactly.
Yeah.
I don't need like a day. Like on a
A
day
full
that I
day's
have
too
off, I'm like,
much.
yeah, on a day that I have off, I'm like, cool, I'm gonna go hike. Like I'm not the type that's like, cool, I'm just gonna like sit around and do things wherever.
Yeah.
Anyways,
No, for sure.
so all of that to say I had to sit. So I was like, okay, well, I need to do something. And I loved I already had a passion for knitting and crocheting. And so what I did was I was like, well, I'm going to take my little like scarves
Mm-hmm.
and make like dresses. Like I was like, I'm going to like get to the point that I can like really make some cool stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, so since then I've like, excuse me, since since when I broke my foot, I've definitely taken my knitting and crochet skills
To the next
past where I
level.
ever thought they could be. Yeah.
Yeah, you were not at your peak
Um,
with those. Mm-mm.
yeah, like I don't know, I've made like so many shirts. I'm currently making a sweater.
That's so
I
cool.
made a lot of blankets, pants, shorts, shawls,
Do you have,
bags.
you should make an Etsy shop. Do you have one?
I thought about it. The reason that I haven't is because a lot of the times what I'm making is my first time making. Like I don't necessarily
Mm-hmm.
want to make something in bulk. It's usually my first time
Yeah.
making it, so there will always be mistakes.
Yeah.
So I'm
You don't
kind of
want to
like,
charge
I
someone.
don't know
Yeah.
that I would like want to sell this
Well, for me
just
too,
because,
and
yeah.
I don't know if it would take some of the like fun out of it because mine is silly. I love organizing things, and people are like, you should
Mhm.
start an organizing company, and I'm like, no, like that's too much pressure. Then like I
Yeah.
just enjoy doing it, and I enjoy like
Yes.
if like a friend you want me to come organize something, like I will come help you free of charge. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you like turn your like hobby passion into monetize, like you monetize it, it
Yeah.
kind of ruins it a little bit.
Also, low key, I think what people want the price to be is just not reality. Like, like the yarn alone could be like $100.
Yeah.
And that's before you've even made anything.
Right.
So that's
I'll
where
buy
it's kind
something
of
from you though.
like I
Can I be
get
able?
that, like, it's a
I'll be a one
scarf.
time. I'm gonna be a one time
Exactly.
buyer from you though.
No,
That's
no,
so
no.
cool.
I've definitely like I've had friends like commission me and I've made it
Mhm.
for them and like I give them a discount because I'm just like,
Right.
yeah. I basically just tell them I'm always like, just pay for the
Material.
yarn
Yeah.
and then like I usually charge like $50 to make it.
Yeah.
Just because I'm like, especially depending on what it is. Like if you want me to make like a huge blanket, I'm not just gonna be like, okay, cool, yeah, just pay me for the yarn. Like
Yeah.
I need some sort of like payment for this. Um, but
But
yeah,
like
at the
not
same
to
time,
fully business, like make it random people.
exactly.
Yeah, is
Yeah.
different.
Yeah. It's hard because it's kind of like I mean, I'd say it's with anything that you actually make. It's like the materials alone cost X amount of dollars. So you can't go under that, right?
Right. Well, and you're not like people think, you can go buy something at Target, but they're mass producing everything where it's like
Yeah.
they're getting all that material for dirt cheap probably too, and you're probably
Yeah.
using nicer stuff, which
Well,
is a
not
whole
only
other
that, they didn't, they mass produced it through a machine as well. So
that
they
part.
could easily they could charge it for $30, even if let's say the yarn is $30, but they're making 10 sweaters a day.
Right.
Like they can like it takes me the sweater that I'm making right now, it's taking me weeks.
Oh, I'm
Like
sure.
I'm still in the process of making it. So that's where and also like your fingers get tired. Like I don't like to knit longer than like, I don't know. I usually knit for like 2 hours, maybe a little
That's a
more if
long
I'm like
time.
really,
You're
yeah.
going. I mean, that
So,
is a long
but like
time.
2 hours a day, like if you actually add up all the hours, right? It's
Oh
been
yeah.
like a single day. But like if you only do 2 hours a day, that's weeks.
It's definitely a labor of love, like, that
Yeah.
you're doing for people, but fun. I
Yeah.
love that. Just, like,
So that
finding other
really, yeah.
things, yeah.
So that kind of helped me with my identity, so to say, in terms of like, I just felt like, oh my God, I'm like a cute little grandma. Like I don't have to worry about being. And also at the time when I was posting, people were constantly being like, please make me something. Like I actually got a lot of commissions during that time
You're like,
frame.
"Thank you for
Yeah.
my validation," like,
Yeah, because
yeah.
I would post and be like, "Hey, I've made this thing," and then somebody would be like, "Oh my God, that's so cool! I would like to get X whatever." Right? So that was nice. Like that definitely like helped. Also, just give me something to do because
A
people were
purpose,
like
yeah.
commissioning me. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there's something about, like, not only someone physically making it, but someone like, to me, I'm
yeah,
like, "Oh, you're making something? Like, let me buy it." I might not even
yeah.
need it, but I'm gonna buy it anyways because I want it. I just think that's
Yeah.
a cool
And I'm
thing.
really big on like, I just make things because I want to make them and then I'll just kind of keep them around. And then if like somebody's birthday or Christmas
Oh.
and I'm like, oh my God, they would really like this thing, then I like gift it to them.
Easy, easy,
Yeah.
easy. I'm obsessed. There's one more thing I for sure want to touch on too, because
Yeah.
I'm also a McKittrick Hotel, like Sleep No More, like
Oh my
fan.
God. Yeah.
I didn't even know that this show was a thing. The
Yeah.
Hypnotique. Can you say it
Yeah.
right? I'm
Hypnotique. Yeah.
Hypnotique.
Yeah.
Which was Friday, Saturdays. I mean, I did my research now, of course, but
Yeah.
um just so cool. I was so sad when it shut down in general. Like that.
I
It's
know.
so iconic. Can you give a brief rundown for people who don't maybe know what either of them are, like what the
Yeah.
experience is, because it's so cool.
Yeah. So kind of like also timeline leading me up to this, right? So
Yeah.
I did step one and then my foot broke. And then I basically reached out to the company being like, hey, I would really love to continue working with RWS, but not as a performer because of my foot situation. I'd love to
Mhm.
be a show supervisor. So then that's what got me to New York is I started working for RWS in Astoria.
Nice.
So then after show supervising for a while, I was kind of like, okay, like my foot is now like at a point that I can perform. Like I want to start auditioning. So I see this audition for the McKittrick Hotel, and I'm obviously obsessed with Sleep No More.
Mhm.
So I'm like, I have to go to this because it's immersive theater. It's at an insane venue. It's like five
Insane.
stories of just like the most beautiful architecture you've ever seen.
And
And each
it's
room,
terrifying.
it's a
Like,
little
I remember
scary.
the first time I went in college, I was like I was annoyed, like, my friends, I was like, "Someone stick with me," and, like, they ended up ditching me because you just walk around, and
Yeah.
I was, like, frightened in a good way because it's kind of
Yeah.
the point.
Yeah, whenever I've told anybody who's never gone before, I usually tell them, I say, it's not scary, but it puts you on edge. Like it
Yes, yeah,
definitely like there's no like jump scares. You know what I mean?
right.
Like there's nothing that's gonna it's not like a haunted mansion.
But you'll hear, like, a
Um,
scream over there or, like, suddenly
yes.
yeah, like, someone pops out of nowhere, but, like, not, like, in your
They're not
face, but just
intentionally trying to scare
yes.
you. It's just a little spooky.
It's spooky. It's
It's a little
dark.
spooky. Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
When
Okay,
you've got
sorry,
a
keep going.
mask on. Yeah.
Oh.
So anyways, to talk about the McKittrick. So when you enter, so the main okay, how do I so there's multiple things going on in the McKittrick, right? The main thing is Sleep No More, the performance.
Mhm,
And when you check in, because it's the hotel, right? So you
mhm.
check into the hotel, you give them all of your belongings, basically. You can't have your cell phone. You go in like with
Vulnerable.
nothing, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so what they do is because it's an immersive theater, you are amongst the performers. They're like right next to you. They can touch you. Like they can offer a hand. You can grab their hand, and they'll take you somewhere else in the theater. So to distinguish the difference between performer and audience member, you wear a mask.
Mhm,
So you literally physically wear a mask. And then once you put on the mask, you are no longer allowed to speak as well. So when you're in the space, you're really, really just like experiencing your senses. Like you're hearing
yes.
things, you're seeing things, you're smelling things. Like one of the best pieces of advice that I got for my first time was my friend said, anything that intrigues you, go towards. Like they said, if you
Yeah,
hear something that makes you want to go towards it, do it. If you see something, if you smell something, like any of your senses that sort of make you go like, what is that? And you want to go, go.
mhm,
Um, which was like the best advice I ever got because I feel like you could very easily just like stay in one room, which is a totally valid choice to make. I have
mhm.
also done that because there's constantly performers coming in and out of the space.
Yeah.
But I was always really big on like, I'm going to follow one
One
performer for their
person,
entire
yeah.
track,
I've
which is a
heard
lot
that
of
too.
running.
Yeah. No,
like,
it's
like you're
you're
definitely getting your
working.
steps in. You're going up
Yes.
and down stairs. Like it's a lot.
It's huge, but it's cool because you can literally go every single day and choose your
Yeah.
own adventure, and you'll never
Yeah.
and, like, aside from, "Oh, it's live theater," sure, but, like, no, it's literally it could be a completely different show than the person you went there with because of where
Exactly.
you are,
Yeah.
which is so cool.
So they do the show 3 times in a row. And you also, a big suggestion is to show up at the start because if you show
Yeah.
up, you can show up at any time. But I always tried to get the like 6 o'clock start because I
Mhm,
wanted to be like in there when they started.
mhm,
So, anyways, so they run the show 3 times. And what's nice about that is if you feel like you've seen something already, the suggestion is also to like go to a different space. Like
mhm.
if you've like watched, oh, there's a fly.
Oh, I hate those.
um, if you feel like you have seen a section, either like go to a different room or like watch it from a different spot in the room so that you
Mhm.
can like see because there's also like I'll never forget, oh my god, the big ballroom scene, right?
Yeah.
So there's usually I was on the floor for that ballroom scene and it's kind of like it's kind of all happening right in front of you. But
Yeah.
then there was one time because in that ballroom scene there's a balcony.
Mhm.
And so one time I watched from the balcony and I had no idea the amount of interactions that were really going on. Because when you
Yeah.
watch from the balcony, you get to see
Down.
all of these just like exchanges of looks. It's based off of Macbeth. I forgot to say that.
Mhm.
So there's these characters that are literally Macbeth characters that are like they're looking at each other but they're like dancing with somebody else. And I like didn't
So
I didn't like
cool.
notice all of those exchanges of looks until I was above and
Yeah.
saw all of that happening.
Well,
Because when I
especially
was
because
on the
when the
floor,
balcony, it's like there's also so many viewers, like regular
yes,
people there too. So you're probably like,
yes,
feels like you're in a crowd a little bit
yes.
most of the time. Yeah.
Yeah, and there's like a handful of characters as well that you don't know are actually up there. Like there's this
Uh,
one, I forget who the characters are, but there's this one part where somebody looks up from the floor and there's a character up there looking down at them. And they like have this exchange and then later they meet up and they like make a plan to like kill someone or something. I don't remember.
so cool. Yeah.
But yeah, like it's so interesting when you think about what I think is so insanely incredibly cool about specifically Sleep No More is the track is running in all of the floors, right? There's five different
Hmm.
floors. They all kind of have this like big dance scene, this ballroom scene that I'm talking about, but then they all spread out and go their different ways. And they've timed everything to work perfectly. And
Yeah.
the science behind that still boggles my mind. I don't
That
know how they do it.
I've never thought about it that way before. Like, that's crazy how they
Yeah,
have
like
to,
the way that,
because
and
like that has
also,
to end so then this person can meet up
yes,
and then they have to be out of the room
yes,
so that person can come.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you can't have like overlapping. So I'm like, how did they just like the curation of that show? I would love to know just what that process is like because,
We got to reach
like
out
you
to
just said,
maybe
like you can't, I mean, you can have multiple characters in a room, but then they have to have a reason to be together.
because they're not ignoring each other. It's like
Exactly.
they're in
Yeah.
it. Like that's real for them. Man, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so someone, if anyone listening knows anyone that could get us, maybe that's my next guest.
Right.
Someone from
Somebody
Sleep No
from,
More.
yeah.
Yeah, and tell us
So the
everything.
show
But
that I did though is Hypnotique. And
yes.
so Hypnotique it was like a fun, sexy,
Yeah.
sultry late night show.
Was it
And it was
just in the check-in area?
So it was on the sixth floor. So
Uh-huh.
like so typically what you would do is you would go to Gallo Green, which is the restaurant.
Mm-hmm.
So you would go up to Gallo Green first and you could like get a drink and kind of like the vibe of Hypnotique was so different to the it was intentionally different to Sleep No More. It was very like I would always say it was like Sleep No More but 2024. Like it was very like techno music. It was a dance party. There was a functioning bar in the venue, so you could like
So
get a
cool.
drink while we were performing.
Yeah.
And it was only one room, so we would like it was an immersive experience. And the roles that we played, so we had the heroines were the female presenting, and then we were the heralds. And
Mm-hmm.
so we were kind of this like we were guiding people through the space in terms of like we would kind of show them like where to be next, and then the space was incredible because the way that they did the lighting would show off each female performer. So like each female performer had their own sort of like uh uh what's the word
Moment,
I'm looking for,
like
moment, but they would
solo.
have their own sort of like personality and
Yes.
thing that made them specific to themselves.
Yeah.
It wasn't
We're
just like, oh, and now here's another dancer on stage. Like
right.
one was in a bubble bath. One had like it was so cool. She had on a crystal headpiece and she like never touched the ground. Like we were always doing like lifts with her. Like
So
she
cool.
yeah, and then there was another one. She had this like huge parachute skirt. So she like started off like she was like kind of constructing this like whirlwind of space basically, and then we had this like huge parachute that we would pull out from it.
Yeah.
There was one girl who it was actually really cool. She would do an entire phrase from like so the space is like it's a normal room, right? So she would go from one corner to the other corner, and she like did this long, slow, very sultry like just like it was so patient the way that she did her solo, and then she retrograded the entire thing.
Oh, that's so
It was
cool.
so cool. Yeah.
That's
And like
so
the
cool.
like she would stand there and she was in all red. She had this big hat and she would like take it off and put it down and like come back and like sit. So then like at the end she would like pick up the hat, put it back on. You know what I mean? Like
Oh my
it was super cool. And she
gosh.
like went from like different platforms. So we also had to like help her down, but like do it backwards and like get her like yeah, it was cool.
That is
So like
so
each girl had their like that's why I didn't want to say moment because it's not just like
yeah.
now like, it's not like somebody was an aerialist and somebody was a like I don't know, like
But they were true characters. Like they were
they
playing
were
a
fully
character.
realized characters, but
Yes.
everybody was a dancer. Like there was no, it's not like specialty acts.
Or like a solo, like this one's the lead. This is like everyone.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
It was very intentionally done that each person had their own individual character and they were like
With no
fully
hierarchy.
realized.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Like we all had character names.
So
Um,
cool.
and yeah, like we as the heralds would like introduce ourselves as like like we couldn't say like, hi, I'm Jack. I'd be like, hi, I'm Neon. Like we would like do all these. And then like all of the girls had A names. Like one was Aria. Oh my God, I'm blanking on what their names are now, but they all
I hate
had
that.
yeah, they all had
Yeah.
A names. And they were all they were like goddesses. Like
Yeah.
they were
I
these
can
like
envision it
beautiful.
just
Yeah,
from
they were.
seeing like Sleep No More and how everything was
Yes.
so intentional and
Yes.
dramatized in like a non,
Yes.
but not in a weird drama way, like in a
Yeah. And then
beautiful
the
way.
reason that it was called Hypnotique is because we had this like tonic that sort of the sort of like narrative of the show was that we as the heralds we like took advantage of the hypnotonic
Mm,
and the hypnotonic gives them powers. And so we have this like whole like section. They're like around this big table and they like pour the tonic and then they like drink it and they like offer it to the guests and everything. And then that's how they kind of like come to life. Um,
wow.
so yeah, it was really, really gorgeous the way that they constructed the whole thing. And so we also had like this hypnotonic drink that we would like
Yeah.
offer to people. And it was like pink and it would glow in the dark because the whole place was like super dark and had a lot of
Hmm.
like glow lights. So it was like it had like a little like light up what's it called? A little light up ice cube in it and it was like
Oh,
neon.
so cool. The
Yeah.
immersive, everything
Yes.
intentional. What was that audition like?
The audition was interesting. So when I auditioned for it, the role that we were auditioning for was called Fickler, and he was kind of this like jester
Mm,
character. So they were really big on like how are you gonna like his character was very much an instigator. He was the one. So like we as the heralds, we really like curated the space when the females weren't on stage. So like in between, I'm going to call them acts. In between each act, there's sort of like a transitional moment, right? And
hmm.
so that's where we would really come in and we would like pull people out onto the dance floor and we dance with them, or like we try to like get them to sit in a chair and like just like I don't know,
Whatever. Yeah.
make fun. Like yeah, we could do
Yeah.
whatever.
So
Or
fun.
we'd pull them over to the bar. Like we were very much the ringleaders of the
The
event,
show.
right?
Well, you were had
Yeah,
to like keep it going. Like someone had to kind of
exactly.
be in
Yeah.
charge. Like who's in charge of this
Yeah.
show?
So the Fickler character was intentionally this sort of like trickster, jester person. And so like each person kind of had their own thing with it. Um
Could have
like there
just like
was
you could have done your dandruff.
exactly, right? So yeah, so when we did the audition, they were very much trying to see who was going to be this like instigator type, right? So we audition, we get to the end, and then there's like, I don't know, about five of us that were left. And what was super cool, this is like the main reason that I accepted the job, is they offered us comp tickets to see the show. So the audition was on like, I don't know, a Wednesday. And then like you said, the show was Friday, Saturday. So they sent us an email like after the audition. They said, thank you so much for attending
Uh-huh.
here like let us know what days and like they offered us two comp tickets like
Oh,
they were
nice.
like let us know if you want one or two and on which day, right?
Yeah.
So I ended up getting to like see the show before I even booked it and I was like, oh, this is super sick. I was like, I want to be in this.
Yeah.
So then like I think I saw it on a Saturday and they were very much like, this is an immediate hire, you're starting on Monday. So I was kind of like, okay, I haven't heard anything yet, we'll see, right?
Yeah.
Sunday rolls around and it's like, I don't know, it's like 10 a.m. on a Sunday. And I remember like talking to my mom and being like, I don't think I booked it. I was like, they want us to start literally tomorrow. Like I would have heard by, like we
Right.
would have already been in negotiations for a contract. Like I was like,
Right.
in my head, I was kind of like, somebody at that show probably already had accepted a contract.
Hmm.
Like one of us was pretending like they weren't already in the show. Right.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, like that's totally fine. I was like, you
Like
win some, you lose
whatever.
some. I got to see
Right.
a free show. Love
Right.
it. And then out of nowhere, I get an email from McKittrick and they're like, hi, we'd love to offer you a swing contract. And I was like, whoa. I was like, I didn't even know. They'd never mentioned that that would even be on the table.
Right.
So then what ended up happening, which was super cool, is three of us got hired. So they hired
Wow.
somebody to play this Fickler character, and then they hired me as the in-house swing, and then they hired a vacation swing. So there were like, out of the five of us that were left
That is cool.
that did the like free show, they ended up hiring like the majority of us.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
awesome.
And they very much were like, because I remember showing up to rehearsals and seeing the choreographer director, and I was like, "Hi," and she was like, "Hey, surprise!" And I was like, "Yeah, you never mentioned that you were looking for swings." Like they very much were like, "We only have one spot,"
Right.
and so I was kind of like, "Cool, the odds are against me. Like there's five of us that they're interested in. Like the odds of me getting one spot is low, right?"
Right.
So then when I got this swing contract, and then I saw um my two other like cohorts from that audition, I was like, "Work, we all got this." And then they told us, they said there's a lot of people, there were a lot of boys that were going to be out. So they were like, we wanted to hire swings while we were at it,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, so then that's how I started working at McKittrick, and I loved it. Oh my God, it was like some of I had never done immersive theater before then, and it was really interesting because we had to learn crowd control, and we had to learn
Yeah.
how to just like an appropriate way to move somebody. You know what I mean?
Because you
Like,
have to stay in character, but again, like I said, someone's got to run the show because it's like
yeah,
not just people in seats where it's a little bit easier
yeah,
to control people,
yeah. And
people
they were
moving.
really, what I thought was really interesting that I would have never thought before until they literally told us this is what we need to do, is they were very much like, you need to have like a firm and understanding cue, basically. Like if you need somebody to, like, if you need to get somewhere by like, cause it's all kind of like time to the music,
Hmm.
like, so like if you need to be, if you're hearing your cue and you're not there and you need to like burn,
Book it.
like go through people, right? Like they were much like don't be afraid to touch people. Like they were like, just give them a firm like shoulder
Yes.
and move. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
don't try to like, you know, like don't
Push.
be vague. Exactly.
Yeah.
They were like hold them
Firm.
and move them and then let them go. Like you tell them where they need to be. Don't be, they were like, if you're vague at all, it's just gonna ruin it.
It's gonna be weird. Well, not again, not the same, but that's when I was teaching fitness. It's the same thing when like a teacher like kind of like is like weird how they touch you. They're like nervous or timid. Then you're like,
Yeah.
wait, this is weird. You don't know what you're doing. But when it's like, okay, like no, I'm gonna like be in control and be firm, like
Yes.
not aggressive, but like firm. Then
No.
you're like, okay, now this isn't weird. Like
Yeah.
versus like, wait, are you just trying to talk to me? Like, what are you doing? Like now move, like taking that control.
Yeah.
It's such a
Yeah.
skill that you don't think about unless you're
Yeah.
doing something like that. But it also kind of
Yeah.
feels like that experience for you was like very not all of your special talents, but a lot of them like kind of coming back to
Yeah.
one, you know, like that the
Yeah.
acting of it.
Yeah. It was fun. We had a lot of improv. We had a lot of like, there was a lot of freedom, especially as swings, because
Mhm.
they kind of told us, they were like when we were swinging into a track, they told us, they're like, we don't want you to like you're just swinging into literally their blocking, but we want you to be your herald. Like they were like,
Um,
we don't need you to now all of a sudden become this
yeah,
other character. Like they were like, we want you to identify as yourself. So that
that's
was
cool.
also really nice. Is we like, because I've swung for other shows, and it's very much like you're swinging into that track. Like you
Right.
are that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially for a musical, it's like you have lines, you have to say them that way.
Yeah, there's not as much freedom for sure.
Yeah. Versus in this show, because it was very, I mean, every show was different. Like, depending on literally where people were placed, is how we would like do, like,
Yeah.
we had to move platforms and we had to like get people to be in certain positions. And also, like, sometimes there'd be 100 people in a room, sometimes there'd be 50 people in the room. So
Mhm.
that really changed the temperature of what we were expected to do as well. If there were less people, we were expected to do a lot more because
Right.
we needed to fill the space. But if there was 100 people and everybody's kind of like chatting and talking and like, you know, everybody's a little more squished, like we literally physically can't dance
Yeah.
as much.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was really, it always kept us on our toes. It was
I was
really
gonna
nice.
say there's no no I don't want to say there's no burnout, but there's no like boredom of it because it's
No.
so different all the time, which
Yeah.
is really, really cool.
Yeah.
Well, did you finish when it closed or did you finish before that?
Yeah. So yeah, when the McKittrick closed is when
So
Hidden also closed. Yeah.
sad. It's so sad.
And so then I had about like, I think a year I think my timeline's a little bit off. I don't remember exactly
Blends.
when did the McKittrick close? Was it 2024 or
I think it
2025?
was
I knew it was
24.
January. Yeah,
I
I think
think
it
it
was.
was 24
No, it had to be
or
2025.
25, or I think it was right after my last season, which would have been if it was January
It
25.
was
Yeah.
January 2025 was when they closed for sure.
And
Because I started October 2023 and I know I worked there a year. So it had to
Mhm.
have been January 2025. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So they closed January 2025.
I
And
thought they would
that's
never
when
close.
I know. Well, because they announced, like, pretty soon after we booked Hypnotique, they announced that Sleep No More was closing in like January 2024. This is why I get a little confused because they announced they were closing, but then they actually stayed open for literally an entire year.
Oh.
Yeah. Because what happened was they announced that they were closing, and then people from around the world started being like, no, I want to come see this show. So then they
Yeah.
got like a
Uh,
huge influx of income, basically. And they said, cool, we're not closing.
yeah, like we'll stay, I guess,
Um,
because
yes.
it's so
So
iconic. Oh,
yeah. So that all happens. And then what they did is they just kept like extending the dates basically because they had so
they're
much
like, might as well
interest in
keep going.
people. Exactly. Yeah. They had so much interest in people coming that they like kept extending the date. And then it ended up being, I'm not even kidding, an entire year of them extending.
I mean,
And then
because there's
they,
really nothing like it. There's nothing
yeah,
like it out
yeah,
there. So that makes
yeah,
sense to me.
seriously. So then within that time frame, I was like, okay, I want to get signed, I want to get represented, and I want to really start getting into musical theater. Like that
Mhm.
was I've always kind of done it, but I never really committed to it. Like I did like a handful of singing lessons when I was younger, but not to the point of me being like, I'm training in this and I want to do it,
Right.
right? So so yeah, so then I get signed with my old agency, GTA. So I was signed, like I said, I was signed with them before I started college. And
Mhm.
then while I was in school, I just wasn't auditioning. Like I was in school.
Yeah.
So we both kind of like mutually were like, okay, we're like not doing this. And then I started doing shifts and I was like, well, I'm kind of like gone anyways. So like I'm not gonna
And you
try
don't
to
really,
like get an
yeah.
agent. Yeah. So then I moved to New York and like I said, I started working at RWS and then I booked Hypnotique and I was like, okay, cool. Like now I feel like I feel like I've now like really beefed up my resume
Mhm.
with, and especially once I booked Hypnotique, I was like, this is going to look really good when I'm trying to get signed with an agency because I'm already actively working in New York.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I was like, cool. I was like, this is going to make me not look like, I haven't worked in a couple years,
Yeah.
especially because of my foot. I was really like hypersensitive of like, I haven't worked in a year. I hope people take me seriously.
Yeah. No, like I
Um,
said too, where the injury thing, it makes people nervous sometimes where it
yeah,
shouldn't, but it does.
yeah. So I was like, that was actually, we didn't really talk about that, but that was like a huge, huge, huge like relief off of me when I booked Hypnotique. Cause one, I felt like, so I had moved to New York in February 2023. And then I worked at RWS. I did like a 4-month contract with them. And then like summer happened and I actually went on a replacement contract for step one. And then when I got
Okay.
back from that, that's when I booked Hypnotique. And so I was like, okay, I was like, I feel like I'm really like a part of the New York dance scene now. Cause like
Yeah.
my first time I was teaching, and then my second was on a ship. I wasn't even in New York. And then I like was back in New York, booked Hypnotique, met a bunch of people, and was like, oh my God, like I feel like I'm actually like integrated into the New York dance scene
Yeah,
now.
it kinda happens out of nowhere, right? You're like, "Wait a minute, I
Yeah,
suddenly don't feel like I'm visiting here anymore."
exactly. Yeah. So I was like, cool. Like I was like, I feel really like a part of this now. So then probably around like summer 2024, like it had been a couple months, and I was like, cool, I'm really gonna like get, I really want to get represented. And I was like, I'm not gonna get into these ECC calls. Like, I'm not gonna get into this room without agency calls, basically.
Yeah, it's hard.
Because I was just like unwilling to sit all
Sit
day and
all day
like
and not
not.
be seen.
I just saw so many of my friends talk about it, and I was like, I just don't want to do that. I was like, I just have literally no interest in just like showing up and hoping for the best. Like,
Right. Well,
I
it's
just was
it's
like,
kind of like a
financially, I literally can't do that. Yeah.
I was gonna say you get to a certain point, like, when you're fresh out of college, like, okay, you're willing to grind and do those things a little bit more, but I feel like the older you get and also you have experience working, it's not like you're fresh, like, no experience and
No,
I'll take anything, it's like you have those boundaries, like,
that
more.
too. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so then I'm like, I really want to get signed. I re-sign with my agency, GTA. So then they get me the TuaCon audition. And I was like, oh, this is like super cool. I was like, it's in Utah, which is kind of random, but like I looked it up and I was like, this is like an incredible
Yeah.
venue. I had never heard of it before. I was like, what? Like, I'm brand new to the musical theater world, basically. I've never done a musical theater contract. And I go to the audition. And what the season was, it was Newsies, Little Mermaid, and The Wizard of Oz. And so we go in and we do like a Newsies dance, like for the dance
Hmm.
call.
Yep.
And I'll never forget. Oh my God. You may have heard of it, but it like went viral on TikTok. This is why I'm like, you may have heard of it.
Oh, I'm
We
bad at
so
TikTok. I hope
so
so.
the It's okay. The first thing that happens, we all show up, right? And like, we're in Pearl Studios. I'm like, we're in a little holding room, and I'm kind of like, okay, I should warm up. So I like hit a plank. I do a little downward dog. I'm
Yep.
like,
Sounds right.
I'm warm, but I'm not like,
Enough.
yeah. No, I definitely was like internally warm.
Okay.
Like I was like, I'm
I
good,
believe
right?
you.
And then the choreographer goes, okay, great. So we're going to start at the back of the room. And we're like, okay, so we go back there. She's like, you're going to hold 5, 6. You're going to shun a 7, 8 flying disc 1. And I was like, oh, okay. So I literally walked to the back of the room, hit my little like second position stretch and was like, let's
Hmm.
get into this. I stopped paying attention basically. I was like, I need to actually warm up so that I can do this flying disc on 1, which is the first part of
Yeah.
the combination.
Which is like fear. Like I'd be afraid for the rest of it at that point. Like that's how it's
Yes.
starting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's 1, right? So, anyways, that all happens. And then we sing, and I end up getting callback material. And I was like, this is great. I was like, I definitely felt in the room. I was like, I could tell. I was like, I feel like I'm in the running. Like, I was like, this feels like,
Yeah.
I was like, I feel like I'm vibing with them. And I definitely feel like I didn't think I was going to book it necessarily, but I was like, I would be surprised if I didn't get a callback, basically.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I end up getting callback material. They have me read for Scuttle, the Eels, and the Tin Man. And I was like, oh, okay, that's kind of crazy. I was like, I'm shocked that they've given me this much material to read for. And then each of them had a song as well. And so I
Oh
was
my
like, wow, this is like
gosh.
a lot of material, but at least I have like a week to like
Get it.
the callback was literally a week later. So I was like, okay, I
Yeah.
was like, I have like almost a week to get this together. So I'll be okay.
Yeah.
So anyways, that all happens. And then I go back, I do the callback material, and this is when we do the 3 toe touches, like
I
in the
was
dance
waiting for
call.
this.
Yeah.
Okay. After
So
the flying disc.
the 7, 8, 1 is a flying disc, and then the end of the audition combo is 3 toe touches. And the the choreographer, this is like actually historical to me. The choreographer goes, okay, she's like, I don't expect 3 toe touches. And she's like, you can do 1. Oh, she says, sorry. She says, you absolutely have to do 1. She was like, I have to see that you can do at least 1 toe touch. And she was like, if you want to do 1 toe touch and then 2 jumps after, that's totally fine. But then she says, what I do need to see though is who can do 3. And so, of course, everybody in the room goes, so if I do 3 toe touches, I'm booked. Like,
Yeah, you can't not do 3 at that point
you
then.
know what I mean? Like,
Unless
she
you're
kind
like
of
in a
goes like, yeah, she's like, so not everybody has to do 3, but I do need to see who can do 3, basically. Like, she was like, she says, my plan for the piece is that, not everybody has to do 3 toe touches, but there are like, I don't know. She said like 2 or 3 people that need to be able to do 3. So I need to see who can do that. So
you're like challenge accepted. Okay.
exactly, obviously.
Yep.
I'm like, duh. I'm like, so what I'm hearing is 3 toe touches means I book. So I'm going to be doing 3 toe touches.
Translates.
Um, yeah. So then we do the 3 toe touches. I do all the callback material. And I feel really good about myself. I'm like, okay, like this feels great. And then like 2 weeks go by and I don't hear anything. And I was kind of like, okay, like totally fine. I was like, especially like working at Tuacon, it's such a puzzle. Like you're not just getting cast for 1 show, you're getting cast for 3. So
Yeah.
you have to fit all 3 shows. Like I mean, one of my like favorite things to talk about at Tuacon is the people who are leads for 1 show are like heavily ensemble for another show. So
Oh.
like the girl who played Glinda in The Wizard of Oz was like a tree in I'm not even kidding, she was a literal tree in The Little Mermaid for Kiss the Girl. And like she was like a goon in Newsies. Like it was just like so funny to be like, oh yeah, like Glinda/goon.
Talk about range, I
No,
guess.
I
Like
know. Yeah.
it probably keeps you humble and like less of a like hierarchy weird
Yeah.
tension because
Yeah.
everyone's just like, I'm here, I'll do
But
it.
they also like the expectation too. Like the girl who played Glinda also covered Catherine, who's like the
Yeah.
female lead of Newsies. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
like it's not like she was just like for the other shows. Like the expectation for the people who are leads are also that they like cover for
Yeah.
the like. So, anyways, it's just like silly because I feel like they also very intentionally like if you're like covering the lead, they definitely make your tracking like very small for that
Yeah,
show so that you can like focus on your coverage.
that seems fair.
Um, yeah, I
Thoughtful
mean
of them.
it is fair.
Yeah.
It's just like so silly when like the girl who played Catherine was like a flamingo in Kiss the
No,
Girl. Like
100%. Like you like that's like you don't hear that. I feel like once
yeah,
people like book the lead, they're like, I'm not doing that. Like I don't
yeah,
do that. Like I'm up here
like the
now.
girl who played Catherine was a flying monkey.
Not the
Like it was just like so
monkey
funny to be like, oh yeah, like Catherine slash flying monkey. Like
slash slash flying monkey. Bye.
exactly,
That's
yeah.
so good.
So
Oh,
anyways, like I said, 2 weeks go by, I don't hear anything. I get to the point that I'm kind of like, I don't think I booked this. And then boop, the email comes through and I'm like, oh my
story of
God,
your life.
yay. So then the contract at Tuacahn, it's so they do a summer season, which is much longer than summer. It starts in March and goes until October.
Mm.
So I was kind of at a place that I was like, okay, like I'm going to be gone for 7 months and I could do the whole like sublet thing in New York, but I just like really didn't want to.
It's a lot to deal
So
with.
the day before I left for Tuacahn, I decided that I was moving out of my apartment. And I was like, yikes, oops, sorry everyone, I'm moving out. So I like got a storage unit. I moved all my stuff out. My friend Billy really helped me. Shout out to Billy because that was literally so intense.
That's
And then
insane.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then I like found a sublet for the remain because my lease was up in July, I think. So I had already found somebody to sublet my apartment, but had originally said it was going to be furnished, and then I was like,
Yeah.
"LOL, it's not going to be furnished." And she was kind of like, "That's totally fine," because I actually have like my bed and
Oh,
everything that I was going
great.
to figure out for. So anyway, so I find someone. I'm like, "You're good to come in," and I was like, "I'm going to be gone until October." At this point, I still planned on coming back. I was like, you can either stay through like July or you can stay through October. And then I ultimately just decided to move out. So I was like, I just need you to stay through July. I was like, if you could stay through July, that'd be amazing because then I don't have to like find another person. And she was like, I can stay through July. And I said, love that.
Thank
That's so
you.
good.
Yeah.
So yeah. So now, Tuacon's happening and we're like kind of getting to the end of the season. And now their winter season's coming up. And their winter season was Elf, the musical.
Oh,
So I was kind of, and they have auditions at Tuacon. So I was like, why not audition for it? This
you're already
seems like,
there?
I was like, it's the easiest audition I'll ever show up at. It's a 5 minute walk from, because the housing is on site.
Oh,
So I
that's
was like,
nice.
I was like, I can walk there. It's a 5 minute audition and they know me. Like, let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
I also didn't assume that I would book it. I was just kind of like my head because it was Elf. I was like, oh, they probably want short
Short
dancers.
people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, they probably want Buddy and then like
I
everybody
would
else,
say
right?
plot twist, but your buddy.
Right. So I auditioned thinking like, oh, there's no way I'm booking this. Like I'm way too tall. And then I get an email from my agent being like, hi, you have an offer for Elf. And then I start realizing that like all of the people that they casted from Tuacon are all kind of like around my height. Like we're all on the taller end.
Oh,
And then what I didn't know is the beginning of the dance, you do it on your knees. So that's how they get elves. Because then the rest of the show is New Yorkers, like normal people.
right.
So they actually do need like average height people, not
Wait,
under average.
in my head, I was like, oh, you know what they probably do? They probably put Buddy on stilts. That's what I was gonna guess. And so it's just like everything's big. That your version makes more
No, yeah,
sense. At
so
least there's only one.
we had these little like industrial knee pads. They were great. I didn't feel anything in them. And we were
Good thing, and
like,
your knees were solid. You didn't injure your knees.
no, my knees were
Like it was
great.
great.
Yeah. But yeah, they were like heavily padded,
Yeah, they took care
like
of
I'm
you.
not kidding when I say industrial knee pads. Like they're the type that like plumbers and stuff use.
Wow. Yeah, you need that.
So yeah. So then did this little like elf dance on our knees. And then like immediately after he's like in New York. And so we strip off our little elf jackets and we've already like underdressed our like New York like business attire and then we like walk back on stage.
Cute. I love
Yeah,
that.
it was fun. So yeah, so then I ended up staying at Tubicon from March through December.
Mm-hmm.
And then within that time frame was when my shoulder popped out. So around like November was when I got confirmation about my MRI. And that was like the day before we opened Elf. And I had already I mean, everybody knew about my shoulder. It didn't hinder me from booking the contract. Um and like even like during rehearsals, I had told them like, yeah, I don't know what's going on, but like it definitely hurts. And I told them I was like, I'm planning on getting an MRI. So they had already kind of like done my specific tracking to not be like a lift heavy track.
Mm-hmm.
Um And then once I had confirmation that it was a torn labrum, I pretty much approached them and just said, like, I'm unwilling to do like XYZ. It was like two things that I was like, this is really, we do 8 shows a week and it's only for a month
Yeah.
run. But I was like, I just am, the hard part is we did Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday single shows. And then we did 2 Friday, 2 Saturday. So that like that Thursday through Saturday night doing
Mhm.
5 shows was really just physically
Yeah.
difficult. Um, like I even called out of I think a Saturday show because I was just like I physically can't. I was just like I can't
Yeah.
physically do this. Like I need to rest my shoulder. So yeah,
Which
so
is
there
smart.
were like a handful of things that I told them I was like I'm basically unwilling to do XYZ now that I have confirmation that it's a torn labrum. And they were really really like open about they were like that's totally fine. Like don't even worry about
Let's
it.
yeah, we'll rework it or whatever. That's
Exactly.
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that was really nice. And then yeah, then I came home for Christmas and then I assisted the Tuacon auditions in
Mhm.
January. Because I could still dance. I just couldn't really lift. Like I could still like I still
Yeah.
had I mean, this is my right arm, not my left arm, but like I still had like full functioning like range of motion. It just like didn't feel great.
Right. Right.
Um, so yeah, so like there was a moment in the choreography kind of similar to the one that I talked about where I had to hold someone with one
Yeah.
arm. I had to hold someone with just my left arm and like like it was like a like they just like tucked up into a ball and we just like spun around once. It wasn't hard. But with a torn labrum, I was
With
kind
a
of like
good shoulder, it
that.
wasn't hard. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. I was like, if it was on my right side, it would have been totally like I would have never changed it. But I did ask, I was just like, can we please just like I basically said, can I the we were supposed to have our other arm up. And so I said, can I just use my right arm to like support her knees? I was like, it's 2 seconds. And if I could just like distribute the weight a little bit better with
Yeah.
my left arm, that would just help.
Oh.
And so like little things like that was what I changed. And they were like, totally. Like they're like, you're not like asking for a solo. You're just asking to like distribute weight better. Like that's fine.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not the arm isn't gonna make or break the scene,
Exactly. Yeah. And we
unfortunately.
were like in the
Yeah.
back. I was like, nobody's watching us, babe. Like, it's fine.
Yeah, like we can just duck and can we just duck and cover for this part?
Yeah.
Like,
I think
don't
by
look
the
at us.
last run, I was really tired. And I did tell her, I was like, just run around with me. I was like, I'm not even lifting you. Like, we literally just like ran around in a circle. And I was like,
Like,
oh, well.
no,
Yeah.
no
Yeah.
one cares. Yeah, it's not that deep. It's not that deep,
It's
you
not that
guys.
deep. No.
Oh my
Um,
goodness.
but
Well,
yeah. So then I had surgery in March and now we're here.
yeah, I was gonna say what's next? What's the dream now?
Well, I'm hopeful to be able to do the winter contract at Tuacon again. So
Yeah.
the winter contract this year is Holiday Inn, which is a really big tap
Mhm.
show.
Yeah, full
So
circle.
yeah, so I'm feeling like I mean like the 6 months. So the contract starts like late October, and I'm kind of like, okay, well, I had my surgery late March, so like that's literally like 6 months. So we'll see
Yeah.
like how this all pans out. But I'm hopeful.
Yeah.
I think that there's a really good chance that I could because like rehearsals are for the first month as well. So I'm kind of like by the time performing happens,
Right.
it'll be like 7, almost 8 months of healing. So I'm kind of like, I think
Yeah.
I could do it.
And maybe they can like be nice again and just be mindful of
Exactly.
what
Yeah.
you're
And
doing.
like I've stayed in communication with Tuacon. Like I have a good standing with them. It's not like I mean I assisted their
Yeah, I
auditions
was
for
gonna
this
say
year.
it doesn't sound like you're in a
I'm
bad
in
spot.
no, yeah, I definitely think I'm in good standing. By no means do I feel like I need to basically it kind of just comes down to like physically if I can
Right.
audition, I will.
Right. For sure. Cute. Because you're on the mend. You're on the mend. You're on the
Yes.
rise.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna cut us off now because we could talk forever and ever. And I always say to everyone they're just gonna have to come back for a second episode at some
Okay.
point, which we love. But
Great.
I'm gonna ask you your last questions that
Okay.
everyone has to answer. If you hindsight's 2020, but if you could go back and tell your younger self one piece of advice, what would you say?
Um to tell myself when I was younger, I would really say that the the perspective that you have as a performer is wrong. Like you I had this really just like basically my perspective has changed to as long as you're performing, that's all that matters basically. And because you will perform all the time. But my perspective, just like I said, from growing up in LA was always kind of like, if I'm not performing with Beyonce, then I'm like not a professional dancer. Like that was always
Mhm.
kind of my like all of my friends growing up did stuff like that. Like they moved on to do things that were like really noteworthy. And I felt like not in a self-deprecating way, but I was always kind of like like the things that I'm doing are really cool, but nobody knows what they are.
Yeah, they do now
Um,
though.
exactly. Yeah. So yeah, my um advice to myself is like, don't worry, you'll be fine. You're gonna perform a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah, I love that. If there's one key takeaway you wanted listeners to remember from this conversation, what would it be?
Take away from this conversation, I'd say, you know, healing is really important. And it's important to take the time and to really understand what your facility has to offer for yourself, like physically, emotionally, spiritually. Like, you can't, burnout is real. And when that happens, you have to just take a moment and it's going to be okay. You will get back to performing. Like, I, it's kind of now going back to what we said about my foot. I really, really thought for a while, I was like, I'm done. Like, I'm not going to perform again.
Yeah.
And I don't have that perspective with my shoulder. Like, with my shoulder, I'm very much like, yep, I just have to heal and then I'll be back.
Life will go on and
Yeah.
you can come back from it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not gonna yeah. The all or nothing mentality of like, oh,
Yes.
I'm down right now.
Yeah.
You'll get back up.
And it's okay if it changes.
Mm,
Like, I'm also kind of like wrapping this up with PT as well. Like, I do feel like, for lack of a better word, like retirement is coming sooner than later now.
hmm
Like, I'll be turning 34 this year, and I'm just kind of at a point now that I'm like, okay, if I really want to go back to school, like, I don't really want to be going to school when I'm like 40. You know what I mean? Like school is probably happening within the next couple of years.
Yeah.
So yeah, like within, like, it's okay for things to change and it's okay for things to shift, and as long as you're just finding the joy in what you're doing, and like dancing happens no matter where you are. Like, even with my shoulder currently, like, I don't know, I still feel very like I could dance if I really wanted
Yeah.
to. I just wouldn't be able to use my shoulder. Like, I could do you can always perform under injury. Like,
Yeah.
not let me rephrase that. I'm not saying to perform on an injury. I'm saying like you can, like, there are people who perform in wheelchairs. There's people who perform
Yes.
without limbs. You know what I mean? Like having, I think actually that's a big takeaway as well. Is like the ableist in us. Like you're really capable of a lot, even when you feel
Yeah.
like you can't do what you want to do.
When you're not at your 100% peak. Yeah. Like what is 100% peak, like,
Exactly. Yeah.
and knowing that your 100% is different every day. I love the kind of the idea of if you have 30% and you give 30%, you gave 100%. Like
Exactly.
that day.
Yes.
It just
Yeah.
yeah. Me right now sounding like this, I'm like, "Ugh, it's gonna it's fine. I don't listen to these back anyways." Oh my god. So many good things. Where can everyone pull up their phones right now and follow you and keep up with your journey and watch your TikToks?
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram, Jack Attack. It's JACKATAC. Not like ATTACK,
Yeah,
just ATAC.
not like hijack or
Exactly. Yeah.
that with the seat the at the end. That was a terrible that didn't go as well as I thought it
No,
would,
I got
but
it. I'm here with you.
thank you.
And then yeah, on TikTok, it's official Dandruff Danny. It's kind of a joke. It's, it's me being really silly. And if you want to follow my shoulder journey, that's what I'm primarily posting right now. And I'll post like random silly trends, but
Wait, I can't wait to go.
primarily shoulder, primarily post op. Yeah.
I love. Wow, this was a great little catch-up reunion for us as
Yes.
well. You guys, thank you for listening. Follow, like, comment, subscribe, all the podcast things. Good times. And if you who did we need? We needed someone. Oh, if you know anyone from Sleep No More to tell us how
Yeah.
send them our way. Yay! Thanks for kicking it real with
Yay.
us. See you next time.